That young god lord didn't expect Yimo to really be a level 8 pill king. He made 6 special grade snowsang pills in such a short time. Clearly, he was a top-level level 8 pill king, able to reach level 9 pill king at any time. That young god lord didn't expect Yimo to really be a level 8 pill king. He made 6 special grade snowsang pills in such a short time. Clearly, he was a top-level level 8 pill king, able to reach level 9 pill king at any time. The third god lord could see this as well. After a long while, he woke up from his shock and joy. He quickly put away the pills and saluted with his fists. Brother Yi, such powerful pill concoction skills. I believe you won't take long to reach level 9 pill king. You're the most talented pill king I've ever seen. Yimo smiled but didn't speak. He was thinking, the spirit herbs I need to reach level 9 pill king are on you. Hurry up and take them out. Brother Yi, Huanzhen shamelessly want to invite Brother Yi to be a guest at our Godlord Peak. I will treat you as the most honorable VIP, third Godlord invited. Yimo Long wanted to go after concocting the pills. The third Godlord's head was simple, but Yimo didn't dare to underestimate the God Beast mountain range. He was with Jingwen. What if something happened? Plus, that young God Lord hated him. So Yimo saluted with his fists without hesitation. Thank you third God Lord, but I need to go. Seeing that Yimo was really going to go, the third God Lord quickly took out a storage ring for Yimo. Brother Yi, this is just a small gift, hope you don't mind. He wanted Yimo to go to the Godlord Peak to collect spirit herbs himself, but now that Yimo was going to go, he could only give Yimo the spirit herbs he had on him. Yimo was waiting for this and took it. When he scanned his spirit sense in, his mouth spasmed. There were more than 50 level 9 spirit herbs and over 400 level 8 spirit herbs. Wealthy, this God Beast mountain range was too wealthy. He just helped third God Lord concoct a cauldron of snowsang pills. One could see that the great and second God Lord would only be more wealthy. He even wanted to set up a stall here to concoct pills. However, Yimo was regretful to find there was no ice carrot or truth spirit grass here. Yimo thank you Brother Jiao, you gave me so many precious spirit herbs. Seeing Yimo take his things, the third God Lord rejoiced. Brother Yi, I came out in a rush so I didn't bring a lot of spirit herbs with me. Next time, you must come visit. I will give you more spirit herbs. Yimo couldn't tell him to go back and pick them up, so he answered, okay, if I come next time, I will come visit. One of my friend's soul is poisoned. Would you be able to get an ice carrot? He needed it for truth carrot pill of course, but he couldn't let them suspect his power level. As for truth spirit herb, he didn't say it as its only use was to concoct truth spirit pill. Ice carrot. Third God Lord frowned. Yimo could tell he didn't have it. It was much more precious than ordinary level 9 spirit herbs, and it was found only in icy lands. Just when Yimo wanted to say never mind, third God Lord said, Brother Yi, come to my God Lord Peak in 3 months and I will find a way for you. With this, Yimo nodded. If I'm free in 3 months, I will come visit third God Lord for sure. Then, Yimo took out Blue Moon and let Su Jingwen and them go on before bidding farewell. Seeing this blue trail, the young God Lord knew that even with the elder helping out, they wouldn't be able to keep this pill king. Eyeing Yimo off, third God Lord rejoiced. Gaha, I'm quite lucky. Today I, Jiao Zhenhuan, connected with a master like this. Let's go back. The young God Lord saw this and his face was green. He looked in Yimo's direction for a while and left. Blue Moon followed Yang Yang's direction and left the God Beast mountain range after 2 days. Even Blue Moon needed 2 days to leave here. Clearly the God Beast mountain range was very large. He looked at Yang Yang and asked, how did you get so far into the God Beast mountain range? Yang Yang feared him a little after seeing all of Yimo's capabilities. She quickly answered, my brother and I went in 2 years ago and we've been very careful. Only a month ago were we trapped by spirit beasts, so we used that formation to last till Brother Yi came. Yimo nodded. If they didn't run into him, they would be dead for sure. Blue Moon sped up even more after leaving the God Beast mountain range. In just a week, Blue Moon neared an extremely long mountain range. Yang Yang said, after this mountain range is the West Cultivator World, the West Cultivator City. Yimo nodded, After Blue Moon passed the mountain range, more human cultivators appeared. Those cultivators saw Blue Moon's speed and moved aside. Clearly it was a powerful Qian Bei to be able to own such a flying magic artifact. 2 days later, Yimo saw a tall city gate with his spirit sense. There were the 2 words West Cultivator. There was nothing else but that, not even any city walls. West Cultivator City is a city without walls. Brother Yi, it's best to change a flying magic artifact before going in, Yang Yang said. Yimo knew that since the West Cultivator City was on par with God Beast Mountain Range, it wouldn't be a simple place. He was planning to change a magic artifact, so he let out a low-grade flying cultivation artifact. 8 minutes later, they arrived outside the city. There were a lot of cultivators going in and out. Some even had a bloody smell on them, clearly coming back from killing spirit beasts. As soon as they went in, Zhu Yushuang's master bid them farewell. He never planned on going back to North Far State. The West Cultivator City's spirit Kai was extremely dense. It was the best option to cultivate here for them. Yang Yang also came to bid farewell. They left behind a communication bead saying that after her brother recovered, they would come thank Yimo immediately. Seeing no one was around, Tang Mengareo asked, Yimo, when are you going back to North Far State? I want to go back with you. Yimo nodded. She would have to go with him or she would never get back to North Far State. He had no pressure crossing Heartless Sea to North Far State now. He was Disaster Transformation State Level 6 and had Blue Moon. He wasn't scared of Truth Realization State either. Where do you want to go now? If it's not convenient, I can find a place to stay with you, Chan. Just tell us when you leave, Tang Mengareo said. Su Jingwen spoke, it's fine, sect leader Tang, we can stay together and help each other. Tang Mengareo also wanted to follow Yimo. Hearing this, she immediately said, that would be great. Sister Jingwen, just call me Sister Tang now. We've gone through hardship together. Su Jingwen held Yimo's arm and smiled. Sure, Sister Tang. Yimo didn't really mind Tang Mengareo following. His attention was on the cultivators here. He found that cultivators from this city were very ferocious and had a killing Kai on them. Clearly, this was a place of survival of the fittest. Let's go find a place to stay first. Then I'm going to check out Heaven 36 Domains, Yimo said. Xing Cultivator Association, one of the 3 most famous places. Should we go have a look? Yu Chan pointed at a black tower sign and asked. Yimo scanned his spirit sense in and found it was blocked by the formation outside. Judging by the spirit Kai density here, there would be a high-level spirit gathering formation inside. Yimo scanned his spirit sense in and found it was blocked by the formation outside. Judging by the spirit Kai density here, there would be a high-level spirit gathering formation inside. Even so, Yimo didn't want to go there to waste time. His target was clear, go to Heaven 36 Domains first. If his power improved greatly, he would go to the God Beast Mountain Range and visit Third God Lord. If it wasn't, then he would leave West Cultivator City and go back to North Far State. At this moment, 2 Disaster Transformation State cultivators just got out of Xing Cultivator Association. Their faint bloody smell aroused Yimo's attention. Then immediately, Yimo heard the 2 sound transmit. Is it Truth Spirit Grass? That's right, it is indeed. This guy is asking to die. How dare he go to Xing Cultivator Alliance with it? He doesn't even know it's been exposed. The 2 noticed Yimo and them and stopped talking immediately, leaving here quickly. Yimo stopped. What was Xing Cultivator Association? There was actually Truth Spirit Grass. Could people kill here however they wanted? Let's go inside. Yimo turned back and said to Tang Mengareo. Then he went in. If there were Truth Spirit herbs here, he really didn't want to go to God Beast Mountain Range again. That 3rd God Lord seemed very nice, but Yimo had never seen the 1st or 2nd God Lord, as well as those elders. He didn't think just because he was Disaster Transformation State Level 6, he was invincible. There wouldn't be a lot of people stronger than him in West Extreme State, but there wouldn't be few either. No one stopped them at the door and no one asked a thing, but when Yimo and them walked inside, they were dazed. He thought this place was like a marketplace with all sorts of deals going on, but he instead saw a huge parlor, more like a square but with a roof. The square had intense spirit Kai. Yimo believed there was at least a half-extreme grade spirit range below. There were all sorts of cultivators filling in the square. Most of them hid their power, but everyone was full of ferocity and killing Kai. There were tens of transparent restrictions in the square, and some had cultivators cultivating inside. Yimo only needed to look at them to know they were trying to break through. What sort of place was this? Just when Yimo wanted to ask, one of the restrictions opened and a cultivator walked over with excitement. At the same time, extremely dense spirit Kai seeped out of the restriction. As soon as this cultivator came out, two rushed towards the restriction. The two didn't say anything and fought immediately. Although they hid their power, Yimo could tell one was body condensation state level 6 and one was body condensation state level 3. They too didn't fight for long, and that body condensation state level 3 lost an arm. The body condensation state level 3 knew he had lost, so he threw his storage ring. When the body condensation state level 6 got this, he didn't kill the body condensation state level 3 and went inside for cultivation. Yimo shook his head and just wanted to leave when he saw the two sitting on the side also start fighting. The difference in power was too great. One was body condensation state level 5 and another hollow spirit state. In half a minute, the hollow spirit state was killed and the body condensation state took the storage ring like nothing had happened and sat down again. One low-level cultivator came to the scene rapidly to clean up and then soon left this place. Yimo found that you could fight here but you couldn't sneak attack. You must challenge the cultivator even if they're in cultivation. Su Jingwen frowned too and held Yimo's hand. This place is very bad, let's go. Yimo nodded. He had lost interest in this place. Wait. Before Yimo left, a disaster transformation state peak stage stopped Yimo. Yimo looked at that cultivator coldly. That disaster transformation state peak stage looked at Tang Mengareo and then Su Jingwen. Leave the necklace on you and your shoes behind, then you can go. Su Jingwen's face burst red and asked coldly, why should I? The disaster transformation state frowned. If not for your friend, I would keep you as well. Piss off. Yimo said coldly. Yimo made 3 middle-grade cultivation artifacts and Su Jingwen had 2, they were her necklace and shoes. The necklace was very pretty because Yimo added blue moon ore to it. When the disaster transformation state heard Yimo's words, he immediately said coldly, you're asking to die. Then, he sliced a dark yellow sword ray towards Yimo's head. This was indeed such a place. Yimo wasn't going to hold back, his cultivation essence splurged out with Zishu. Yimo was adamant on killing this disaster transformation state cultivator. Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike brought a bloodthirsty purple ray over. A lot of people were watching this battle as this disaster transformation state peak stage cultivator was rather famous in the Shin Cultivator Association. That extremely vibrant purple sword ray caught people's attention even more. Soon, people realized Yimo was no ordinary person either. Seeing this, the disaster transformation state cultivator sneered and just wanted to attack faster when he realized he seemed to be buried in mud. The half-moon sword he sent out also slowed down. His domain melted like snow in the sun. Not good, it's a tough one. The disaster transformation state peak stage's face changed. He was sure Yimo was at least truth realization state. He was asking to die, robbing a truth realization state cultivator. Qianbei, Forg. A purple ray sliced across his forehead before he could even beg for mercy. An essence spirit sprouted out in worry, but before it could go far, the purple ray beamed up and melted it. Yimo copied that body condensation state cultivator and picked up a storage ring. As for the cultivation artifact armor the disaster transformation state had, Yimo wasn't interested at all. This square immediately fell dead silent. Some cultivators didn't even dare to look at Yimo's eyes. A disaster transformation state peak stage was killed instantly at this young man's hands and not even his essence spirit got away. This was truth realization state for sure. Some cultivators looked at the dead body. The armor was broken but it was still a middle-grade cultivation artifact armor, it was still very valuable. But Yimo was here so no one dared to go up. Another low-level cultivator came rapidly. Seeing this, all the cultivators seemed disappointed. That cultivator rapidly dealt with the body. Before Yimo and them could leave, a green-robed well-dressed lady came over and bowed to them before saying softly, "Friends, our association leader invites you. If you're willing, I can lead the way." Everyone else showed eyes of envy hearing this. Yimo sort of understood the purpose of the Shin Cultivator Association. It was to provide spirit kai to cultivators, and when they found great talent or powerful cultivators, they would try to bring them in. But Yimo was uninterested in this. He waved his hand. "No need, we still have things to do, goodbye." The green-robed woman didn't expect Yimo would reject. This was the first time she encountered such situation. Everyone else was dazed too. There was an idiot like this. "Masters, you really don't want to go?" The green-robed woman didn't know what to say. "Masters, you really don't want to go?" The green-robed woman didn't know what to say. Yimo frowned and asked, "Do we have to go?" The woman could see Yimo's annoyance and quickly shook her head. No, please don't misunderstand, we, the Shin Cultivator Association, won't coerce cultivators." "That's good." Then Yimo turned around and left with his group following him. After a long while, Su Jingwen said, "This Shin Cultivator Association is too scary, you can kill and rob people without concern." Yimo knew that Su Jingwen wasn't used to the law of jungle in the cultivation realm. Tang Mengrao said, "That Shin Cultivator Association is probably an organization that is here to attract more cultivators to come. I think those who show excellence here are noticed and invited to join. Then, they would give large amounts of cultivation resource to them." Yimo nodded and agreed. Yu Chan said, "Then if we don't go, will it be fine?" Yimo didn't answer her. He knew that since there were so many people going, there would be a way for the Shin Cultivator Association to attract them. "Let's go find a place to stay first. If possible, I want to leave here quickly," Su Jingwen said. "Okay, let's find a place to stay first." Yimo agreed. He had so many level 8 and level 9 spirit herbs, it was certain he was going to reach level 9 Pill King. Before he went back to North Far State, he needed to do 2 things. Become a level 9 Pill King and find Truth Spirit Herbs or Ice Carrot. "He didn't want to come?" a middle-aged man asked in confusion. The green-robed woman stood before him, she bowed nervously. "Yes, association leader, he didn't want to come and then he left. I asked around and realized they just came to West Cultivator City. They don't really understand our rules, if they knew, they would join us for sure." The middle-aged man didn't speak, but the man next to him inquired, "Should we go investigate them?" The middle-aged man waved his hand. "No need, he's probably a truth realization state primary stage cultivator. Just as Lu Yi said, when he realizes the benefits of joining us, he will come even if he was truth realization state peak stage. There's no need to investigate him, a truth realization state peak stage is not much to us, but there's no need to get on his bad side due to this." "Yes," the other man replied. Yimo and them found a place to stay. Yimo had a lot of spirit stones and he wasn't unwilling to spend them here. Shiyu Hotel was one of the largest hotels here. It was a top-grade luxurious cultivator hotel. Yimo's 2 rooms were the most expensive ones in the hotel. One night cost 100,000 spirit stones, 1 month would cost 10 million. But the spirit kai here was extremely dense and it had all sorts of facilities. The reason Yimo didn't care about spirit stones now was because if he made a few cultivation artifacts or pills, they would be worth large sums of spirit stones. Plus, top-grade spirit stones were of little use to him in cultivation. He didn't need to keep storing them. Even though the formations here were top-notch, Yimo still reset the formation in his room. He stayed with Su Jingwen while Tang Mengrao stayed with Yu Chan. When they settled in, the first thing Yimo did was ask about the Shin Cultivator Association. The Shin Cultivator Association provided a cultivation place with dense spirit kai, the big hall Yimo saw. They also provided the Breakthrough Spirit Eye, which was the cultivation place with restrictions. These places were free to enter, but you must fight over it with people. Usually, high-level cultivators wouldn't look for trouble with low-level cultivators as that would lower their score in the Shin Cultivator Association. But if the low-level cultivator offended high-level cultivator, then they could kill them easily. However, most of the people hid their power in the Shin Cultivator Association. If the difference wasn't too great, no one would know who was stronger. High levels could make low-level cultivators hand over something, but they couldn't check low-level cultivators' storage rings. The main purpose of cultivating outside was for the Shin Cultivator Association to notice you. If they did, they would invite you in and your cultivation progress would be huge. The Shin Cultivator Association had absurd cultivation resources. If you joined them, you would be allocated large sums of cultivation resources and dense spirit kai cultivation homes. They also controlled many ancient ruins that you could excavate yourself. Whatever you got from there belonged to you. The cultivators inside the hall could challenge anyone. You could reject, but if you did, you wouldn't be allowed in there again. The Shin Cultivator Association would send a messenger based on your performance. The girls were divided into yellow, orange, red, green, aqua, blue, purple. The better performance you showed, the darker the color of the messenger who came. Realizing this, Yimo lost all interest for the Shin Cultivator Association. He was even unhappy, only a green-robed messenger came to invite him. Yimo and them stayed inside for 3 days because Yimo had to concoct pills. Yimo was also worried the Shin Cultivator Association would come investigate him, but Yimo realized he thought too much. That's true, he only got invited by a green-robed messenger. They didn't even take him that seriously. On the 4th day, Yimo was planning to go to Heaven 36 domains when the Yang siblings came over. Yimo saw they were fine and knew the Yi Xing vine had worked. The three thanked Yimo and Yang Zhengxin wanted to lead Yimo to Heaven 36 domains. According to Yang Zhengxin was the youngest but he seemed older than the big brother. Anyhow, Yimo agreed. Yimo didn't want Su Jingwen to go but she insisted on going. After all, it was dangerous to try there. Tang Mengareo also wanted to go there to deepen her understanding of domains, so they just all went together. West Cultivator City was a strange city. The cultivator residential place, spirit farms, herb gardens, and mountain ranges were all joined together. The Heaven 36 domain was a few hundred kilometers from their hotel, but it was still in the city. There was no air restriction so they arrived there soon. The place was a trial ground and so Yimo thought there wouldn't be a lot of people like the South Peace State Trial Tablet Square. But when Yimo came here, he realized this place had formed a commercial district and a marketplace. There were shops everywhere. As soon as Yimo walked in, he heard a bleak voice. Brother Yang actually found the Yixing vine, quite substantial. You can get up now, congratulations. Yang Zhengxin heard this voice and his face turned bad. He stared at that cultivator asking coldly, Jin Qilong, did you conspire with people to harm me 30 years ago? This man sneered. Yang Zhengxin, you need to be responsible for your words. I helped you out of goodwill and yet you speak of me like this. If you dare to do so again, don't blame me for being rude. Yang pulled him when Yang Zhengxin wanted to say something. Yang pulled him when Yang Zhengxin wanted to say something. Yimo looked at this cultivator. He was body condensation state peak stage and was very skinny. However, his mouth was very big. The body condensation state looked contemptuously at Yang Zhengxin, seeing that he said nothing more but then smiled to Yimo. Friends, are you here to challenge the Heaven 36 domains? Yimo said casually, that's right. The big-mouthed cultivator had an even greater smile hearing this. You can come in through our place. I can assure you will be very happy. From our Shizhong tunnel, cultivators have the lowest injury rate and the highest rate of entering higher domains. Plus, you're Yang Zhengxin's friends, I will take care of you. It was as though he was old friends with Yang Zhengxin. Yimo looked at Yang Zhengxin in confusion. He didn't understand what this big mouth said at all. Brother Yi, you don't know the situation of the Heaven domain? Yang Zhengxin asked. Yimo nodded. Yes, I thought since it's a trial ground, then you can just go in. Do you need something special? This is the first time I've heard of this tunnel. The big-mouthed cultivator immediately realized it was Yimo's first time here and quickly stopped Yang Zhengxin from talking and said, It's your first time here, then it's even better to come to our place. We will answer your questions precisely and there will be someone dedicated to send you in. Since Yang Zhengxin knew this, Yimo wasn't going to ask some stranger to explain this. To Yang Zhengxin, Yimo was their savior. He wasn't going to let them get scammed, so he said to Yimo, Brother Yi, how about we find a spirit rest tower and I'll explain things to you. Yimo wanted to nod, but that big-mouthed cultivator stopped Yang Zhenxin again. Yang Zhenxin, you don't need to explain. We will accommodate your friend well. He didn't let Yang Zhenxin speak at all. Yimo's face sunk immediately and he said coldly, "Fuck off." That cultivator didn't seem to believe Yimo told him to fuck off. He reacted after a while and roared, "You dare to tell me to fuck off? You think you're tough because you have a disaster transformation state cultivator? You've got balls, very well." The big-mouthed cultivator sent a message and said coldly, "You're dead for sure. How dare you tell your grandpa to piss off in the Heaven Domain Square?" He then glanced at Tang Mengareo and didn't dare to attack Yimo. Yimo was confused how this big-mouthed cultivator saw Tang Mengrao's power, but he wasn't going to be afraid of his threat. He looked at Yang Yang and asked, "Sister Yang, what would happen if you killed here?" Yang Yang was worried, but now that Yimo asked, she immediately remembered that Yimo was someone who could connect with Third God Lord. How could he be afraid of an overlord in Heaven Domain Square? She immediately answered, "There's a rule that if a low-level cultivator offends a top-level cultivator, you may kill them. But usually, no one would do this, as someone who can take over a passage would be supported by someone powerful." She looked at Jin Qilong and carefully sent a sound transmission to Yimo. This Jin Qilong has a truth realization state level 3 for backup. Ordinary people don't dare to offend him. Yimo saw 2 disaster transformation state level 3 cultivators come over. Jin Qilong pointed carkily at Yimo. This man dared to tell our Shizhong Merchant Association to fuck off from Heaven Domain. Perhaps it's because he has a disaster transformation state as backup. The 2 disaster transformation state cultivator came and sealed off Tang Mengrao's directions for attack. One of the persons said to Jin Qilong, "Those who insult our Shizhong die." "Yes," Jin Qilong answered and released a black spiked whip magic artifact, smashing it at Yimo. Yimo sneered. Jin Qilong was mere body condensation state power. He was no different than an ant to Yimo. Yimo just kicked without even using magic artifact. There was a bloodthirsty glare in Jin Qilong's eyes. He loved crushing those who dared to challenge him to pulp. He loved seeing the helpless moan of the person's essence spirit and then he would crush them. That was his greatest enjoyment. No one dared to do anything to him due to 11 Zhong Merchant Association's power. But today, he met Yimo. His whip slowed down in mid-air until it stopped moving completely. Jin Qilong had been here for 100 years and seeing this, he immediately knew he was in Yimo's domain. He called out in shock, "You're a truth realization state Qian Bei." But before he finished, his feet landed on his chest. He wanted to dodge but he couldn't. Even if he wanted to fall over, he couldn't. Asterisk thud asterisk Jin Qilong flew up and was blasted into a bloody mist mid-air. Not even his essence spirit was left behind. The cultivators watching took in a cold breath. Those 2 people who stopped Tang Mengareo both looked at Yimo in shock. One said hesitantly, "You're really a truth realization state Qian Bei." Yimo said coldly, "Piss off. If you dare to stop me here again, don't blame me for smashing your Shizhong Merchant Association." Yimo realized you couldn't keep a low profile here. At this time, you needed to show your power, only then would you earn respect. The 2 disaster transformation state level 9 heard this and their face changed. They didn't dare to argue back. They were a mediocre merchant association. They had a lot of disaster transformation state cultivators but only 1 truth realization state cultivator. They knew what sort of person Jin Qilong was, and clearly, he offended this Qian Bei. It was deserving for low-level cultivators to be killed if they offended high-level cultivators. Yimo saw these 2 were dazed for a long time and sneered. "What? Do I have to smash your Shizhong Merchant Association for you to piss off? Haha, good, good. My Shizhong Merchant Association needs young heroes like you to smash us. I, Meng Shuo, admire a hero who does not succumb to dominant power." A coarse voice sounded and then an extremely robust man appeared. His long hair flowed freely, making him seem more crude yet free. Yimo didn't know this cultivator but he was truth realization state level 3 already. Association leader. The 2 disaster transformation state quickly came to greet this man. Yimo didn't know if this association leader was being sarcastic or not, but he was not afraid of a truth realization state level 3. "I'm Meng Shuo, Friend, you just came to this city, right? I admire heroes like you. If you don't mind, please come have a sit in our Shizhong Spirit Rest Tower, Meng Shuo said in a genuine tone. Yi Mo was confused. He just killed someone from them and said he was going to smash the merchant association, yet this association leader was this polite to him. He had quite the big heart. No matter if this man really wanted to connect with him or not, he didn't want anything to do with him. The way this merchant association did things was very domineering. It was him this time, but if it had been some other cultivator, he would have probably been tortured to death by Jin Qilong. No matter if this man really wanted to connect with him or not, he didn't want anything to do with him. The way this merchant association did things was very domineering. It was him this time, but if it had been some other cultivator, he would have probably been tortured to death by Jin Qilong. Yi Mo didn't believe that Jin Qilong did this for so long, and this Meng Shuo didn't know. From this, it was obvious that Meng Shuo was no good man either. He was a truth realization state level 3, so Yi Mo didn't want to offend him though. He didn't come reproaching him, so Yi Mo was happy to play dumb. He saluted with his fists. Thank you, Association Leader Meng. I'm still busy now. Yi Mo thought this man would politely arrange another time, but his face sunk and his power rose. A fiery red crescent magic artifact appeared above his head. He said coldly, "This means you're not going to give me face. I came to invite you personally." Then, his killing intent burst out. Tang Mengareo took a few steps back. Yi Mo saw this and was angered too. He just pulled out Zishu without bothering to say anything else. He hacked over with Illusion Cloud Domain Shatter Strike. A purple ray sliced through the air and into Meng Shuo's domain. Meng Shuo thought that by scaring him, Yi Mo would succumb. He believed since Yi Mo was so young he probably wasn't truth realization state. Even if he was at most level 1. But Yi Mo wasn't scared of him at all. You have balls. Meng Shuo was furious. In his view, he was already very polite and gave Yi Mo a lot of face by inviting him. How dare Yi Mo reject and attack him too? Before Zishu's purple ray fully activated, his magic artifact emitted a powerful red beam mixed with countless red killing intent that smashed at Zishu. Meng Shuo thought that his killing intent could easily trap Yi Mo, and if Yi Mo was a little weak, this killing intent would churn Yi Mo to pieces. Crack the red killing intent and purple rays clashed together. It sounded like something had shattered. Meng Shuo was shook. He immediately realized that Yi Mo was at least a truth realization state cultivator. Without hesitation, he immediately was about to release a defensive cauldron, but before he could, he heard shuffling sounds around him. Meng Shuo's face changed drastically. He immediately knew that his domain was starting to break. The purple ray's power wasn't mitigated in the clash with his crescent magic artifact, but instead shattered his domain. Not good. This man was at least truth realization state middle stage. Meng Shuo immediately wanted to retreat, but his momentum stopped as though he was bound. Meng Shuo now immediately broke into a cold sweat. He realized that Yi Mo instantly built his domain at the same time. Meng Shuo burned his essence blood like crazy, forcefully releasing his cauldron. He wanted to tell Yi Mo to stop, but he couldn't say a word. But before he could fully activate the cauldron, he saw the purple magic artifact change again. The purple ray that dispersed completely disappeared, and what took its place was a 10-meter-long purple beam. The beam was like the beautiful ray of dusk from the edge of heaven. Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike, the rapid strike of no return. Yi Mo was long unhappy at Meng Shuo acting like he was the boss of everyone, threatening him and inviting him whenever he wanted. The onlooking cultivators could only see purple beam and red killing Kai. They couldn't see Yi Mo and Meng Shuo's actions at all. Meng Shuo was truth realization state level 3, so of course he wouldn't be mesmerized. Moments later, the beautiful purple ray came before him. In his shock, Meng Shuo quickly used the cauldron to block the path. The purple ray instantly hacked the cauldron and brought a splash of blood. Meng Shuo flew back a few hundred meters before stopping himself. The cauldron had been hacked in half and a deep gash reached down from his left shoulder to his leg. He looked at Yi Mo in shock. He didn't dare to believe that in such a short time, he had lost to this man. This cultivator seemed absurdly young. Even the most powerful cultivator in West Cultivator City couldn't render him a heavy injury in such a short time. With a clank, his crescent magic artifact landed at Yimo's feet. Yimo kicked and that top-grade cultivation artifact was kicked aside 1 kilometer. He then looked dazedly at Meng Shuo. Do you have face? An extremely valuable top-grade cultivation artifact was kicked away by Yimo like trash, but no one dared to pick that top-grade cultivation artifact up. This was Meng Shuo's magic artifact. Just with what Yimo said, Meng Shuo wouldn't have the face to stay in Heaven Domain Land. Yimo looked at Meng Shuo contemptuously but didn't keep attacking. He flung his hand and Zishu landed on his back. Yimo didn't even put it into his storage ring and just hung it on his back like a mortal martial artist. Everyone knew that Yimo was exerting his dominance. If anyone dared to piss him off like Meng Shuo, then this was the consequence. However, this was quite the effective method. Su Jingwen looked at the Baron's sword and suddenly whispered in Yimo's ear, "You really do look like a hero like that." Meng Shuo said, "I like this." Yimo's killing intent dispersed due to this and he shook his head, saying to Yang Zhenxin, who was dumbfounded, "Find a spirit rest tower and tell me about the rules here." "Yes, Yi, brother Yi." He realized now that his sister was right. Yimo was a truth realization state peak stage master. Seeing Yimo leave, Meng Shuo then took a pill and ate it, stopping the bleeding on his chest. His extreme shock was still there. He knew that it was very simple for Yimo to kill him, but he let him go. The reason Yimo didn't kill Meng Shuo was not because he was merciful but because he didn't know what would happen if he killed a truth realization state cultivator here. If this attracted more powerful masters, he might not be able to beat them. Meng Shuo was truth realization state level 3, he didn't understand much of domains. But what if a truth realization state middle stage or tertiary stage came? If his domain was in great completion, then he wouldn't be scared of truth realization state tertiary stage masters anymore. After Yimo and them walked away a long while, Meng Shuo summoned back his crescent but his face was still very pale. He could feel his hands shaking. Who started this? Meng Shuo looked coldly at the 2 disaster transformation state cultivators. It was Jin Qilong. He was already killed by that man, 1 disaster transformation state quickly said. Meng Shuo asked expressionlessly, "Does Jin Qilong have a brother called Jin Qihu?" "Yes, association leader," the disaster transformation state said shakily. "Kill him." Then Meng Shuo walked without even looking at the 2. The Spirit Rest Tower waiter saw Yimo and them come and quickly came to greet them. Without Yimo asking, he led them to the best room there. "What is that heaven domain? Why is there a tunnel?" Yimo asked. "What is that heaven domain? Why is there a tunnel?" Yimo asked. Yang Zhenxin quickly replied, "There was no passage before, but later there were a lot of cultivators here so people set up 10 passages. If you wanted to go in there, you would have to go in through these passages. All of them charge you a price. The Xizhong passage is controlled by the Xizhong Merchant Association. The association leader is called Meng Shuo. He's the truth realization state cultivator you fought before." Su Jingwen suddenly said, "This is like a highway pay station." Yimo nodded. It was really like that indeed. It seemed Earth's people weren't the only ones to think of this method of earning money. Yang Yang said, "Each time, they charge 100k spirit stones per person. The competition is very high. My brother was harmed by Jin Qilong in that tunnel. Jin Qilong told him to go in and said if he couldn't get to the 10th domain, he wouldn't have to pay. If my brother couldn't pass, he would have to pay another 100k. My brother thought he would be able to go into the 10th domain so he agreed." Yang Yang looked unhappily at Yang Zhenxin and continued, "But at the time, someone followed my brother into the Heaven 36 domains. When my brother reached the 9th domain, he was suddenly ambushed. My brother quickly left the domain and survived, but we're sure that the person who ambushed my brother was Jin Qilong's friend. But even with evidence, we don't dare to do anything." She got up and bowed to Yimo. "Thank you a lot, brother Yi." Yimo knew she meant getting revenge for Yang Zhenxin. He didn't mind. The only thing he was worried about was that Su Jingwen's safety wasn't assured when he went inside the Heaven domain. He almost killed Meng Shuo just then. Who knew if he would try to get revenge? Yimo thought for a moment and said to Su Jingwen, Jingwen, how about you go back first? When I come out of the heaven domain, I'll come find you. Tang Mengareo immediately knew what Yimo meant and asked, how about you go first and after you come out, I'll go? Yang Yang knew what Yimo meant and quickly said, the heaven domain opens every day, there are still about 6 hours till it opens. Jingwen's sister doesn't need to go back, if we go to the heaven domain observing hall, no one will dare to do anything. What's the observing hall? Yimo asked in confusion. Yang Yang replied, it's the place for cultivators to watch others' trial at the heaven domain. There's a huge screen formation. We can't see the exact situation inside, but we can see how many people are at each domain. Then, people will start betting spirit stones. There are luxurious rooms. No one is allowed to start trouble there or they will be killed. Okay then, let's go there and book a luxurious room, Yimo immediately got up and said. After coming here, Yimo realized how big this was. There weren't a lot of cultivators here, but there were more than 1,000 people. Even so, this huge hall seemed quite empty. There was a huge projector formation at the top showing 36 rings. There were only a few light spots on the rings ahead. Yang Yang explained, those spots represent cultivators inside. If the spot disappears, it means that they came out or they were killed by the domain. If cultivators don't want to go to the next domain, they can go back a domain and will be teleported out. Yimo knew that it was free to watch here, but those luxurious rooms were very expensive. The most luxurious room costs 1 million top-grade spirit stones, but there was no time limit. The luxury came second, but the top-grade one not only had dense spirit kai but also a top-grade defense formation. As soon as Yimo and them got up, a pretty girl greeted them. She probably knew what Yimo did and was very respectful to Yimo and them. When they went in the luxury room, they realized there was a small projector formation there. They didn't need to look at the projector formation below. Yimo set up another few defense formations before feeling assured to leave. Yang Yang stayed behind with Su Jingwen and Yu Chan. Yang Zhenxin took Yimo and Tang Mengareo to the entrance. Because the rooms were only for girls, Yang Zhendong went out to the hall to watch Yimo's progress. Perhaps those cultivators here knew of Yimo's power and thus, no one dared to come up to them. When they were about to enter through the Tan Shong entrance, the cultivators only then dared to come greet them. After Yang Zhenxin left, Yimo and Tang Mengareo paid 200k spirit stones and entered. Then, they got a good look at the heaven domain. The heaven domain was immersed in a grey mist, spirit sense couldn't scan in at all. When Yimo and Tang Mengareo walked into the first domain, Yimo immediately understood the meaning of the heaven domain. In here, space slowed down and there was a sliver of cultivation essence stirring. If the cultivators who came here couldn't defend against it, they might be killed by it. If you couldn't get used to here, your body would be torn apart. Yimo could clearly feel the direction of the cultivation essence turning. It was pretty much teaching cultivators how to control the space and air around them with cultivation essence. This was indeed a trial place. The cultivation essence movement here was at a very low level. There was no domain, it was just a field. But if body condensation states could gradually learn this and the slowing of space, their understanding of domains would deepen. Yimo was certain there would be more powerful spirit sense and cultivation essence simulated domain attacks. He couldn't wait. Yimo felt the first domain was completely useless to him. He didn't disturb Tang Mengareo and went into the second domain. Yimo felt this heaven domain was a huge 8 trigram disk, and if he walked to the center of the disk, he would be at the 36th domain. There was no distinct milestone for the first and second domains, but Yimo could clearly feel the difference between the two. After taking that step, it was the second domain. Yimo exclaimed at the prodigy who built this place. This was absolutely out of this world. Just how much power and how much talent did he have to build this unimaginable cultivation place? The second domain had more fierce cultivation essence waves and greater space impediments, but it still directed cultivators to understand about the formation of fields. Yimo ignored it and just passed through the first 9 domains into the 10th. Coming here, Yimo clearly felt the confinement of space. It was very hard to walk even a step. One mistake and that space confinement would crush you. Yimo knew this was a real domain. Before the space confinement could attack him, he attacked with Zishu. In a cracking sound, Zishu cracked the domain and an empty space appeared. Yimo could use that to go into the 10th domain, but he didn't. He closed his eyes and waited for the domain to seal shut again before hacking out. With this, Yimo nodded. Coming into the 11th domain, Yimo understood that his previous understanding of domains was very narrow. A domain wasn't just a restriction of space around the opponent, it was more importantly to bind the opponent's cultivation essence and even spirit sense. Using a domain didn't necessarily need cultivation essence and spirit sense. Once a cultivator's understanding of domain reached a certain level, his will could form a new domain. If domain was birthed with will, one could easily master state, then he would be invincible. Perhaps even a disaster transformation state level 1 would be able to kill a truth realization state cultivator. With the use of 3 birth chant, every time Yimo went into another domain he would feel different. He felt his domain was undergoing enormous change. He went into a state of enlightenment. He just kept moving forward and learning, completely forgetting the notion of time. 10th day, Tang Mengareo exited from the 17th domain. She felt this was the furthest she could go. When she reached into the watching stadium, she knew Yimo was in the 23rd domain. On the 12th day, more and more people came as many of them learned someone went into the 25th domain. The last truth realization state Qian Bei only reached the 26th domain and came out. On the 15th day, the huge hall was full. Countless powerful beings and top-grade cultivators rushed here. Some cultivator had reached into the 27th domain. This was a very rare record. The entire West Cultivator City went crazy now. The reason entering the 27th domain would cause such a huge commotion was because all the cultivators here knew that every 9 domains were at completely different levels. The 9th and 10th domain were completely different. So was the 18th and 19th domain. You might be fine in the 18th domain but not even be able to last a few seconds in the 19th domain. The reason entering the 27th domain would cause such a huge commotion was because all the cultivators here knew that every 9 domains were at completely different levels. The 9th and 10th domain were completely different. So was the 18th and 19th domain. You might be fine in the 18th domain but not even be able to last a few seconds in the 19th domain. Now, someone was in the 27th domain, everyone wanted to know if this person could go into the 28th domain. If he did, he would be the #1 master in West Cultivator City, or the cultivator with the greatest knowledge of domains. In the history of the Heaven domain, no one had passed the 30th domain. If this man could get into the 28th domain, he might be able to challenge the 30th domain. Because of this, those cultivators flocked to the observing palace. Those luxurious rooms were filled, even those famous cultivators in the city had to squeeze in one room with some people. There was one top-grade room that no one went to squeeze in. It was said there were 4 cultivators inside and all female cultivator too. However, no one dared to go in, even the Vice City Lord Luo Yujian didn't ask to go in. Everyone knew that the girls inside were the family of that cultivator. Who would risk disturbing the family and friends of a cultivator who could go into the Heaven domain's 27th domain? There was also news that this cultivator almost killed Shizhong Merchant Association's association leader Meng Shuo before he went in. Eventually, the story became that the cultivator didn't even raise his hand and just used his cultivation essence to form a purple cultivation essence sword that heavily injured Meng Shuo. Meng Shuo was one of the 10 big powerful people in Heaven domain. Just who was this being who could heavily injure him without moving his hand? This was beyond their imagination. Su Jingwen began to worry seeing all these cultivators flock here. She thought that even with restrictions, their room wouldn't be able to stop all these powerful cultivators. Luckily, they worried too much. No one dared to come to their room or even knock. Tang Mengareo breathed easy. In North Far State she was one of the big 3, but here she couldn't even be ranked. The 2 managers from the Shizhong Merchant Association were more powerful than her. There were countless cultivators who could kill her here. She felt ashamed to be called one of the big 3 in North Far State now. There were still more and more people coming, everyone wanted to go watch inside. Eventually, the powerful beings here set up a transfer projection formation and finally eased up the squeeze. Cultivators had spirit sense, and so even if they weren't in the heaven domain square, their spirit sense could see the progress on the screen. There was no projection formation at the square, but for Yi Mo, a huge projection formation was set up. Meng Shuo was very worried now. He realized how dumb he was. He had annoyed a powerful cultivator like Yi Mo. If he had another chance, he would rather be a coward than try to show his power. It wasn't really losing face now, as it wasn't embarrassing losing to a powerful being who could reach the 27th domain. He was worried that powerful being would come out and look for his trouble. If that was the case, he would have nowhere to hide. He had a few truth realization state friends, but who would be willing to fight against this powerful being for him? Even he wouldn't himself. He sighed and could only sit down and yield to fate. His foundation was here, he couldn't leave at all. When Yi Mo entered the 27th domain, he immediately felt that the space around him seemed to have turned into a swamp that he had sunk into. There were sharp sword rays everywhere in this swamp. One slight error and he would be ripped and crushed. The space seemed to be constantly contorting and he couldn't capture that rhythm. His domain quickly broke and shattered in this constantly changing space. That contorting space made Yi Mo feel this was space disposition, not domain. But the next moment, he realized this was definitely no space disposition. This was still a type of domain. Luckily, those sword rays and the swamp didn't mix together so he could struggle. Instantly, he formed his domain again. He wouldn't have been able to survive here if he didn't gain a new understanding of domain after passing the 26th domain. As soon as his domain formed, it was crushed again, but Yi Mo tried relentlessly. If it was some other cultivator, he might have retreated into the 26th domain. In fact, Yi Mo knew too that he could use Illusion Cloud Domain Shatter Strike to hack open the domain so he could go into the 28th domain. But that way, he wouldn't be able to learn anything. In here, he had the time to attack, but in the 28th domain, he wouldn't even be able to use an attack. He also knew that every 9 domains represented a completely different level, so the 28th domain would be countless times more powerful than the 27th domain. Time passed as Yi Mo's domain kept getting crushed and reformed. As time went on, Yi Mo's domain could last longer and longer until it could completely defend against the domain here. But Yi Mo didn't go into the 28th domain now. He would rather go back to the 26th domain if he didn't have the confidence. Cultivation was important, but so was his life. So when his domain could completely defend against 27th domain, he started to expand out and attack. This idea came from the lightning sword. He learned his lightning sword by attacking the divine damnation with lightning. The method he used now was to use his own domain to attack the domain in here and feel the cultivation essence motion inside to improve his own domain. Time went on and he could completely defend against the domain here and walk freely without trouble. However, he still couldn't attack the domain around him. Yi Mo didn't give up like this. How could he go to the 28th domain if he couldn't fight back against the 27th domain? When you fought someone, it wasn't enough just to block the opponent's domain, you needed to break your opponent's domain. He used Illusion Cloud Domain Shatter Strike to do this before, but now he wanted to use his own domain to tear apart the space around him. If he learned how to do this, his domain would immediately be near great completion. Even if he fought Truth Realization State Tertiary Stage Masters, he might be able to win. There was heated discussion inside and outside the Heaven Domain Square because Yi Mo had stayed in the 27th domain for more than 3 days. According to his past progress, he wouldn't stay in one for more than 1 day. Soon, a new round of betting opened up. One side bet Yi Mo could enter the 28th domain, the other side said he would leave from the 27th domain. Master, those people are betting how many domains Martial Uncle Yi can go into. Should we bet 2? Yu Chan saw the astonishing odds of going into the 36th domain. Master, those people are betting how many domains Martial Uncle Yi can go into. Should we bet 2? Yu Chan saw the astonishing odds of going into the 36th domain. These odds didn't just include going into 28th domain now. There was the odds of going into 36th domain. The losing odds of going into 28th domain was 1 to 3. Quitting from 27th domain was 1 to 2. Going into 30th domain the odds rose to 1 to 8. The losing odds of going into 36th domain was 1 to 100. Yang Yang said, If you want to bet, you can bet here. There's a place next to the projection formation. Just write what you want to bet on and place in your spirit stones. The spirit stones will be teleported away. Tang Meng Rao nodded. I'll give you 1,000,000 spirit stones, you can bet on what you like. Su Jingwen woke up and quickly took out a storage ring, passing it to Yu Chan. Help me bet too. Yu Chan took the storage ring joyfully and asked, Sister Jingwen, which one do you want to bet on? Su Jingwen's mind clearly wasn't on this and said casually, it doesn't matter, as long as you're betting on one that says Yi Mo will win. She wanted to give Yi Mo a little support through this indirect way. Seeing this, Yang Yang also placed a bet. This was the 4th day Yi Mo was at the 27th domain. His domain could easily break the space dispositions and squeeze away, but it was still a little bit off from crushing the space domain. Yi Mo was disappointed, he was just a little bit off. So, he just sat down and ran the 3-birth chant. Yi Mo let his domain slowly seep into this mock domain. Another 2 days later, Yi Mo felt something was wrong. The key concept of forming domain here was through one's own cultivation essence. This didn't seem wrong, all the cultivators' domains were formed like that, Yi Mo's domain before was formed like that too. But when Yi Mo used 3-birth chant, the things he realized was completely different. Domain wasn't formed through cultivation essence, those domains formed with cultivation essence were called fake domain. Real domains were a will state, a force. When the cultivator's force was formed, the domain would be born through will. As for using cultivation essence to form the contortions and even spirit sense, it was just a method of attack in your domain. When domain was perfected and the enemy was trapped in the domain, your cultivation essence can turn into a method of attack. Cultivation essence and spirit sense weren't used to form domain, it was a method of attack for the domain. Realizing this, Yi Mo woke up and suddenly got up. He squeezed away the domain around him and his cultivation essence expanded out. The locked space around him was completely shattered. Yi Mo was overjoyed, he didn't expect it to be so simple. He realized now that only now was his domain truly in initial completion. The domain he previously thought was in initial completion wasn't even the beginning. Not just him, but probably more than 90% of cultivators weren't even beginners in domain. However, Yi Mo felt suspicious of this place. Theoretically, this was a trial ground, it shouldn't be misleading cultivators like this. If he didn't have 3-birth chant, even if he passed the 36th domain, he wouldn't be able to truly understand the notion of domains. Yi Mo wouldn't believe that the powerful being who set this place up was intentionally trying to mislead people. One explanation was that powerful cultivator didn't understand domains either, but then Yi Mo shook his head. If the person didn't understand domains, how could he set up this huge heaven 36 domains? Plus, this place was indeed very helpful for cultivating domain. Even a fake domain was better than not understanding domain at all. Now that Yi Mo could easily break the domain here, he went into the 28th domain. Immediately, he felt like there were sharp beams pointing at him. The stir in space here was completely different than the 27th domain. In the 27th domain, space was space and the sword rays were sword rays. They were separate, allowing you to dodge them. But in the 28th domain, they were fused together. It was as though the place he was at wasn't space but a place formed with countless pin-sized killing kai. It was present no matter where he went. The space distortions were more than 10 times stronger than the 27th domain. Yi Mo took a cold breath in, this was no trial grounds but a slaughterhouse. If he didn't truly understand domains, he would be instantly killed the moment he came in here. He wouldn't even have the time to go into the golden page world. Even a truth realization state peak stage cultivator wouldn't be able to survive in the pinpoint space. The domain previously learned was completely useless here. Even if you formed your domain, it wouldn't last 1/100th of a second. Yi Mo didn't expect the difference to be this huge. Luckily he knew what true domain was and instantly formed his domain. When the killing kai space pressured him, Yi Mo's cultivation essence wind blades and spirit sense blades also swept out. With a thud, Yi Mo's domain was crushed, but he also stopped the attack of this space. Yi Mo didn't continue trying to learn the space domain here, he felt this domain wasn't suitable for him, it wasn't right. But the space attack and mock domain attack was very good for him. He could use this opportunity to refine his newly learned domain. The cultivators watching saw that Spot had went into the 28th domain. There were shouts of joy for those who bet Mo was going into 28th domain, but sighs from cultivators who lost. When Su Jingwen saw the dot finally go into the 28th domain, she breathed easy, but then immediately stared at the spot nervously. West Cultivator City, Shin Cultivator Association. That middle-aged man who previously didn't care if Mo joined the Shin Cultivator Association now frowned. After a while he asked, "You said that cultivator left here and went to the Heaven domain, and is now in the 27th domain?" The fatter cultivator in front of him just wanted to talk, but his communication bead lit up. He scanned with his spirit sense and immediately answered, "Yes, association leader, but the news we just received is that he's in the 28th domain now." That association leader got up immediately and his face seemed a little strange. He walked a few steps and said, "I'm going there immediately." Then he said, "Ji Liang, tell Elder Gong to prepare some gifts. If that cultivator comes out, we need to greet him immediately." Association leader, what level or gift should we prepare? Ji Liang asked. The middle-aged man hesitated and said, "For someone like him, he won't take ordinary gifts seriously." He hesitated and said, "Bring that low-grade immortal artifact, only something like that can touch him." Ji Liang was dazed. "But association leader, that's the only immortal artifact we have, it's the sect guarding." The association leader waved his hand. "We were already rude to him by just sending a green-robed messenger. If we do it again, this person will look down on us. A low-grade immortal artifact is precious, but if we can pull a 28th domain powerful being to join us, it would be very worth it." "Yes." Ji Liang agreed. Mo didn't use Z Shu nor Illusion Cloud Domain Shatterstrike, but his domain had Cultivation Essence Windblades now. After countless trials, his domain finally shattered the simulated domain. Mo realized that if he kept moving forward like this, his domain might really reach great completion by the 36th domain. His entered the 29th domain. The cultivators inside the Observe Palace exploded again. That spot went into 28th domain and just stayed for one day before going into the 29th domain. What shook them even more was that the spot stayed there for one day again and went into the 30th domain. Mo went into the 30th domain in such a short time. The odds began to fall. At the 30th domain, Mo completely ignored the special pressure and binding that could instantly kill truth realization state cultivators. He even closed his eyes. After the 28th domain, he completely understood domain binding and attack. He was slowly combining his understanding of state and domain. Once he combined these two, Mo felt this domain would have a skyrocketing increase in power. The conditions in the 30th domain were many times worse than the 28th domain. If he didn't have a completely different understanding of domain, he would be torn apart instantly even if his original domain was in great completion. Mo shook his head. After the 27th domain, this place was completely a slaughterhouse. It was impossible to even stay alive, much less learn domains in here. No wonder rarely anyone kept going after the 30th domain. Mo began to progress faster and faster. On the 23rd day, he went into the 31st domain. On the 24th day, he went into the 32 road domain. The betting completely stopped. Now, the spirit stones betting that Mo would go into the 36th domain were enough to buy half the entire Heaven domain region. Although the Heaven domain region really wanted Mo to come out now, there was nothing they could do. Su Jingwen saw that Mo was faster and faster and finally breathed easy and relaxed. On the 28th day, Mo went into the 35th domain. According to Mo's idea, the 35th domain should have even more intense space distortions. He came in here and immediately expanded his domain, but what shook him was there was no movement nor space ripples here. It was just an ordinary place. Mo reached his spirit sense out and found this place was indeed an empty domain. He shook his head. He just wanted to go into the 36th domain, but he felt something was wrong. There seemed to be a stealth formation here. If he wasn't a level 9 formation Grandmaster, he wouldn't be able to see this at all. But even so, there was nothing he could do. The formation heart wasn't here. If he knew where the formation heart was, he would be able to go in. Yimo ignored this irrelevant formation and went into the 36th domain. As soon as he came in, he felt this place was different than the domains before. There were space bindings and space distortions, and the killing intent was strong too, but Yimo felt this was the real domain. Feeling the difference and similarities, Yimo frowned. Was it that for other cultivators, only the 36th domain was the place they could understand domain? But only in this place could he truly combine his state and domain. The news of Yimo going into the 36th domain spread like wildfire. Some cultivators who weren't in West Cultivator City even got the news. An absurd cultivator appeared in West Cultivator City, going into the 36th domain in 30 days. At this moment, cultivators didn't come to watch the projection formation but to see who this cultivator who was first in history to get into the 36th domain was. Su Jingwen got up in joy. She thought Yimo would be coming out immediately. However, it was Yang Yang and Yu Chan who were the happiest. Tang Mengareo asked casually, "Which one did you bet on?" Yu Chan said happily, "I bet 1 million that Marshal Uncle Yi would get into the 36th domain." Sister Yang bet 200k as well. Sister Jingwen bet the most. There were 10 million spirit stones in there and I bet them all on the 36th domain. What? Even Su Jingwen was dazed. 10 million on a 1 to 100 odds. She would get 1 billion spirit stones. Even Yimo never had this many spirit stones. Just when Su Jingwen wanted to speak, she saw the spot disappear from the screen. With a rumble, a purple ray flashed. This was the first time Yimo used Zishu since the 28th domain. Zishu hacked out and the illusion cloud domain shatter strike clashed with the surrounding space. He felt the space binding around him lighten. Yimo wiped some sweat. He thought this was all there was, but just when he fending off against the domain pressure, the space binding rapidly changed. The domain attack also changed completely. In such a short time, Yimo wasn't able to form his shattered domain again, so he could only hack out with Zishu. However, this strike only cracked open one crevice in the domain. Without that strike, Yimo wouldn't even be able to retreat. He was ambushed by the 36 domains. Yimo was shook, but he was more joyful. He finally found how to combine domain and state. At the same time, he learned another means of domain. It was right of him to come here indeed. After Zishu brought about that crack, he quickly reformed his domain again. This time, he was ready. In the battle, Yimo learned more and more. The 36th domain was truly the place to learn domain. Eventually, Yimo could control the power of the domain. In his will, the domain changed in size direction. With a long howl, Yimo didn't even need to move his hand and his domain expanded out. The surrounding space cracked again and this moment of enlightenment came into his mind. Yimo knew his domain was in great completion. This was the real domain. At this moment, Yimo controlled the expansion of his domain and the powerful space domain crippled like glass. Yimo was very happy. He didn't know why there would be this misleading thing in here, but that wasn't important. He didn't need to stay here anymore. Yimo knew in order to leave, he just needed to go back. Yimo turned to the 35th domain, but when he was there at the door, he found that the 35th domain completely disappeared. He couldn't feel the 35th domain anymore. Yimo frowned. There was only one possibility, it was caused by that formation. Yimo turned back. The heart of the formation wasn't in the 35th domain, it might be in the 36th domain. Yimo walked for a moment and came to the end of the 36th domain. Yimo didn't find any formation heart, but a new formation world appeared before him. Was there a 37th domain? Yimo didn't understand, but even if there was 37th domain he wasn't scared. As soon as he came in, he didn't even have time to scan his spirit sense out and he was covered in wounds. This terrifying killing intent wasn't something a cultivator of the cultivation realm could defend against. He went into his golden page world without hesitation. If he hesitated for a moment, he would die. As soon as Yimo got in the golden page world, blood shot out like arrows. Even Shadowless flew over, worriedly buzzing. As soon as Yimo got in the golden page world, blood shot out like arrows. Even Shadowless flew over, worriedly buzzing. Yimo ate a few pills before stopping the bleeding. 4 hours later, Yimo took off the broken cultivation artifact armor and washed himself. The most serious injury almost sliced his arm off. Yimo rejoiced. If it was sliced off, he wouldn't be able to get it back for sure. If he was just 10 milliseconds slower, he would be dead. This 37th domain wasn't a domain, it was a place to kill. Yimo was sure that any master from the cultivation realm who came would be dead for sure. There were some serious problems with this place. This place seemed to attract high-level cultivators here. The more powerful and the more talented cultivators were, the more easily they were killed here. This was because the more powerful you were, the greater understanding you had of domain, and thus you could go further. Thinking about this, Yimo shivered. According to this train of thought, Heaven 36 domain was set up just to kill prodigies. Why was it so? One day later, Yimo recovered and thought about this place carefully. The instant he came here, his domain was shattered by the space here and his body was bound by the space. If it wasn't that his domain was in great completion, he would have been dead already. The brief instant that his domain stopped, that binding allowed him to escape. Almost every inch of the space had fierce killing intent that was as powerful as a truth realization state tertiary stage cultivator's full-powered attack. Who could block this entire space filled with killing intent? Even if Chu Jiuyu was here, he would be dead for sure. Even a cultivator who could rip open space wouldn't be able to get away in such a short time. Only immortals could escape, but would immortals come here? The more he thought about it, the greater Yimo's fright. Which bastard was this? He was so bleak. Yimo threw out a surveillance formation outside and saw an extremely terrifying space. Dense killing force hung densely in the air. Yimo knew that if any life came here, the killing intent would be triggered. This killing force existed in the form of light. Just how powerful space attack formation means were needed to set this up? How much spirit power was needed to power this? But soon, Yimo found that these killing force were just the tip of the iceberg. In this space, there were waves of space distortions. They were clearly invisible and an extreme type of space kill formation. Just these space ripples were enough to tear apart any cultivator. In the past 36 domains, the space distortions, pressure, and pulling weren't completely formed so his domain could stop them, but here, they were all formed. This was just the killing force he could see. Just how much more invisible killing force existed here? Yimo didn't dare to imagine. In order to see more, Yimo threw out a few formation surveillance formations. They had no life force and thus weren't attacked. Yimo carefully moved his golden page world while throwing out surveillance formation. He really wanted to go back to the 36th domain, but it had also disappeared. His control of golden page world wasn't perfect and thus he couldn't move rapidly. When the gold spot representing Yimo finally disappeared, the square and observer hall exploded. Many people thought Yimo was teleported out, but moments later, they knew Yimo wasn't teleported out. Thus, there was only one possibility. This cultivator was killed. Sighs of pity and happiness sounded. It wasn't good news that a cultivator like this died, but it wasn't bad news for some of these power factions here. The happiest was Meng Sha. He eased up and wiped his sweat. At the same time, he thought of Yimo's family and friends. Cruel glances beamed in his eyes. This man dared to insult him. Now that he was dead, how could he let go of the people who came with him? He has never lost so much face before. In Su Jingwen's room, she thought that Yimo came out after the spot disappeared, but after a long while, she didn't see Yimo come for her. She felt something was wrong. Soon, there was news that Yimo died there. Even though Su Jingwen was nascent soul state level 7, she felt dizzy. Tang Mengareo quickly held her. She wanted to persuade Su Jingwen that Yimo might not be in trouble, but even she knew that Yimo was certainly in trouble. Seeing this, Yang Yang came to comfort her. Sister Jingwen, why don't we wait for Yimo at the entrance of the heaven domain? Su Jingwen shook her head. I agreed to Yimo to not leave unless he came. Now that he isn't here, I'm not going to leave. I will wait for him here. Yang Yang hesitated, but Tang Mengareo nodded. Jingwen is right, we can't leave. This room has no time limit. If we leave here we'll be in danger. Yang Yang wasn't dumb and almost immediately realized what Tang Mengareo meant. Everyone fell silent, no one wanted to talk at this moment. 3 days later, the place calmed down again. Those cultivators came and left quickly. It was of course very significant to reach the 36th domain. But so what if he didn't come out? No one cared about a dead cultivator. Yu Chan worried about Yi Mo, but she was also worried about the spirit stones. No one spoke of the spirit stones and she didn't dare to ask. It was as though they forgot people in here had bet. It was the 6th day and Yang Yang was talking with Su Jingwen when her face changed. She was about to rush out but Tang Mengareo stopped her. Don't rush, your brother is in the observing palace, that man won't dare to do anything to him. At the door to the observing palace, Yang Zhenxin, who only had an arm and was covered in blood, rushed in. Before he could go upstairs, however, someone stopped him. The observing palace forbids fighting, but it's not a place for cultivators to avoid danger. Yang Zhenxin ignored this cultivator and yelled to the 2nd floor, "Don't leave here, Shizhong Merchant Association is waiting. They want to capture Brother Yi's wife." Yang Zhendong, who was at the 1st level, quickly held Yang Zhenxin and said with red eyes, "It is the Shizhong Merchant Association." The cultivator ignored Yang Zhendong and said to Yang Zhenxin again, "Please leave, no fighting cultivators are allowed in here." "Let him in, we have the most luxurious room air, why can't he come in? Is there some limit on the number of people who can come in?" Su Jingwen walked out asking coldly. "Let him in, we have the most luxurious room air, why can't he come in? Is there some limit on the number of people who can come in?" Su Jingwen walked out asking coldly. That guard looked at Su Jingwen and then the luxurious room behind her and thought for a while before moving aside. Seeing this, Yang Zhendong quickly helped his brother up. The 2 pursuers of Yang Zhenxin looked coldly at him and then Su Jingwen and Tang Mengareo before sending news with their communication beads. Those cultivators outside just saw Su Jingwen and exclaimed, "That cultivator's wife was so pretty. Zhenxin, who did it? Is it Shizhong Merchant Association?" Yang Yang looked at the broken arm and asked angrily. Before Yang Zhenxin said anything, a cultivator outside the hall doors said coldly, "You're right, it is the Shizhong Merchant Association. How can those who offended us roam freely?" Then, Yang Yang saw the cultivator at the door, it was Meng Shuo. Meng Shuo saw Su Jingwen, who wasn't in the room, and suddenly grabbed at her. But his attack was immediately dispersed by another cultivation essence giant hand. Meng Shuo saw a cultivator walk out of a room and saluted with his fists. "Luo Vice City Lord, why are you doing this? They're just a few insects without backing." Luo Yujian was Truth Realization State Level 2, a little lower than Meng Shuo. Luo Yujian smiled calmly. "I admire the cultivator who went into the 36th domain, plus this is the observing palace. Do you not know people can't fight here?" Meng Shuo's face looked bad. "Even the palace lord didn't come out to stop me, yet you do. It's very astounding that you stayed here till now." Luo Yujian said slowly, "You can ask the palace lord. If he allows fighting here, then pretend I said nothing and you can do what you want." Meng Shuo's tone calmed down. "In that case, I'll give you some face, but I wonder how long you can stay here for." Su Jingwen knew now wasn't the time to stay outside, so she quickly ran inside the room. Even a cultivation essence giant hand wouldn't be able to reach in. She thanked Luo Yujian and went inside before sealing the formation. Luo Yujian saw this and said, "I'm going now, but are you going to attack the room? If you do, I won't intervene." Then, Luo Yujian walked out and disappeared. Meng Shuo glared coldly at Su Jingwen's room but didn't keep attacking. He said something to the 2 pursuers of Yang Zhenxin and left. The 2 stayed at the door and didn't leave. Yi Mo stopped now. He saw a skeleton in the surveillance formation. The skeleton sat by a dried-up pond. There seemed to be some formation marks in the pond. The means were extremely advanced, but they weren't purposely hidden. Yi Mo saw that the endless killing Kai here was caused by the space kill formation. After watching carefully, Yi Mo saw that there wasn't just one formation inside the pond. They were all very high-level space kill formations. Yi Mo knew he didn't have the ability to set up such formations yet. Soon, Yimo saw that there were two extreme grade spirit range supplying the spirit power. These two supplies were separate and they were part of an exchanging formation. The power supply would switch to another spirit range after a period of time. This way, the spirit range could digest more spirit chi and thus, even after countless years, the space kill formation wouldn't be ineffective due to lack of spirit chi, but there was a flaw in this. The instant during the rotation of power supply, the space kill formation would pause momentarily. It was very brief but very hard to grasp. That person had to be at least a top-grade formation grandmaster and be watching here constantly. Yimo knew if he could grasp this time, he could damage the unprotected formation heart instantly. Yimo started to calculate the period of spirit range rotation. The time he calculated scared him. It was 49 years for every rotation. Did he have to wait for 49 years here? He calculated more and got the result that the last rotation was 40 years ago. This meant he needed 9 years. He couldn't even wait for 9 months. In this formation, he could only stay in the golden page world. He wasn't able to break it. Yimo turned his eyes to the skeleton beside the pond. The head was looking down. Even in the golden page world, Yimo could feel the power and loneliness of this skeleton. Yimo sighed. Perhaps this person came to the 36 domains like him. He didn't have the golden page world and was a very significant cultivator to be able to reach here. It was a pity he wasn't able to leave. Yimo felt sympathy for this person. Yimo collected his feelings and then saw a jade slip next to the skeleton. Yimo moved the golden page world over and used a whole day before he took off the jade slip and the storage ring. Yimo scanned with spirit sense and saw there were just a few words. North Far State's Chu Xiaoyi was tricked at Heaven Domain. This domain is a trap. Chu Xiaoyi from North Far State? Yimo had never heard of this name, but Yimo knew since this cultivator could come here, this person must be very powerful, perhaps even more powerful than Chu Jiuyu, but this person wasn't famous. One could see there were powerful people all over the ancient cultivation realm. After removing the restrictions in the storage ring, Yimo saw at first glance that there were 7 immortal crystals. They were exactly the same as the ones he got in the All-Herb mountain range. Seeing this, Yimo took them immediately without noticing the 9 chipped key next to them. What time difference would be created using these 7 immortal crystals? Yimo made a timer with sand in a glass and put it outside the time formation disk. Then he put the 7 immortal crystals into the time formation disk without hesitation. They fit perfectly inside. The instant the time formation disk was activated, it ran crazy fast. Yimo couldn't feel the time formation disk inside it. He quickly closed his eyes and started cultivation. Yimo felt slivers of immortal Kai seeping out mixed with the spirit Kai from the extreme grade spirit range. It was extremely comfortable and he felt his power was increasing rapidly. Yimo felt slivers of immortal Kai seeping out mixed with the spirit Kai from the extreme grade spirit range. It was extremely comfortable and he felt his power was increasing rapidly. When Yimo felt the cultivation essence in his body rumble and the meridians broaden even more, he couldn't help letting out a howl. He was disaster transformation state level 7. Yimo rejoiced feeling the powerful and rolling thunder-like cultivation essence in his body. Yimo forgot he was just testing the time formation disk and was shook. He forgot about time in cultivation. Thinking about this, Yimo quickly stopped the time formation disk and left. He had been inside the time formation disk for 3 months, but the one-day timer still had some sand inside. The ratio was around 100 to 1. This was far greater than 12 to 1 using extreme grade spirit range. Yimo quickly checked the 7 immortal crystals. It was a pity that the immortal crystals dimmed down around after just using them for 3 months' time. If he used these immortal crystals for cultivation, then he would be able to reach truth realization state middle stage for sure with truth carrot pill. But Yimo knew that he had to use them. He just hoped there would still be some left after using them in the time formation disk for 9 years. If he didn't have concerns, he would really want to cultivate here for 9 years, but Su Jingwen and them were waiting for him in the observing palace. Yimo controlled the golden page world to come to near the formation heart and threw in the time formation disk. The time formation disk landed perfectly, and then Yimo activated the time formation disk with formation flags. After the formation was activated, Yimo couldn't see the time formation disk anymore. He saw the time formation disk blur. According to his calculations, since the ratio was 1 to 100, he would need to wait about 32 days outside before the power supply would change. He would stop on the 31st day in case he missed the rotation. Seeing so much immortal Kai being wasted, Yimo's heart was aching, but he knew this was the only way out. The time formation disk kept running, but Yimo picked up Chu Xiaoyi's storage ring and looked at the 9-chip key. It was exactly the same as the one he got before. The only difference was it was in much better shape. It was a pity he used the other one, or he would be able to compare the two. He got the 9-chip key and suddenly thought of that Shui Yufeng. He cursed Chu for not keeping the promise. That person was probably Chu Xiaoyi. He thought that it was Chu Jiuyu, but now it seemed he was wrong. If the person who sealed the formation was really Chu Xiaoyi, then it was easy to explain why he never went back. Chu Xiaoyi sealed that space-devouring monster. Clearly he was a cultivator with morals. Yet someone like that died here. It made Yimo feel sad. In his death, Chu Xiaoyi realized that this place was a trap. It tricked prodigies in here to kill them. Yimo realized that his feeling wasn't wrong before. This place indeed intentionally misled the cultivators here. Even if it wasn't a prodigy and he left before the 28th domain, he wouldn't be able to get a real understanding of domain. This place for killing human prodigies clearly wasn't set up by human cultivators. Yimo shook his head and placed the 9-chip fork on the side before looking at the other things in the storage ring. There were very few spirit stones, but there were some spirit crystals. They were all high level. However, all the pills and spirit herbs had turned grey. There were some cultivation artifacts. Chu Xiaoyi had so many immortal crystals and used them to seal another terrifying being, yet he really didn't have much in his storage ring. There was a pure white jade box on the side. Yimo saw half a necklace. It was just a low-grade spirit artifact, but it was the best kept. Yimo immediately knew that this necklace must have had a special meaning to Chu Xiaoyi. Yimo didn't touch it and sealed the jade box. Yimo had decided to bring back Chu Xiaoyi's remains when he came out back to the North Far State. Chu Xiaoyi's last words put North Far State at the front. Clearly, he wanted to go back there. There was such a powerful cultivator in the history of North Far State, but he had never heard of him. Yimo shook his head and carefully put away Chu Xiaoyi's storage ring. He didn't touch anything else inside. He took the 7 immortal crystals to save his life, but as for other things, Yimo wasn't going to take them even if there were immortal crystals. He took Chu Xiaoyi's remains and put the storage ring back on his finger again. Yimo had a deep respect for Chu Xiaoyi, who sealed off the space-devouring demon. In the remaining time, Yimo didn't cultivate but watched the time carefully. A month passed quickly in cultivation, but it was passing very slowly watching the timer. No matter how slow, Yimo didn't dare to get distracted at all. He only had one chance. At the beginning of the 31st day, Yimo took out formation flags, watching the surveillance formation constantly. He would stop the time formation disk immediately on the 31st day. Just when it was time, Yimo suddenly paused. He found that his time formation disk stopped running. He didn't even throw out his formation flags. What was going on? The next moment, Yimo saw the 7 immortal crystals in the time formation disk turn to dust. The immortal crystals were gone. Yimo's mouth was bitter. 7 immortal crystals. He wasted them all on the time formation disk, which he didn't even use to cultivate. Yimo hated the guy who set this domain up. He would kill that bastard if he could. Yimo didn't even dare to calculate how much time was left, as he was scared that the time would pass the moment he was calculating. Yimo didn't even blink his eyes and looked at the space kill formation. He was holding tens of formation flags tightly in one hand while his other hand held Zishu. 1 day passed but nothing moved. 2 days, 3 days, 11 days, still nothing. On the 12th day, Yimo's eyes were sore. Not blinking and staring at one place for 12 days, that was uncomfortable even for disaster transformation state cultivators. Just when Yimo was considering whether he should calculate the time, he saw the space kill formation seem to pause for a moment. Without hesitation, Emo dashed out of the Golden Page world. Emo dashed out immediately. He was ready to go back to the Golden Page world instantly if he was going to get killed. Getting injured was better than losing his life. Emo dashed out immediately. He was ready to go back to the Golden Page world instantly if he was going to get killed. Getting injured was better than losing his life. The moment Emo dashed out, he knew he succeeded. There were no space attacks, other than the space binding and pressure. The terrifying death beams didn't move. It meant his judgment was right. The greatest threat, the space kill formation, didn't move during the exchange of spirit power. For Emo, it was fine as long as the space kill formation didn't move. His domain was in great completion, so the space pressure and distortion didn't stop him at all. He expanded his domain out and they all dissipated like clouds. Emo instantly threw out tens of formation flags when he left the Golden Page world and released Zishu. A purple shadow sliced across the air into the formation heart. At the same time, tens of lightning swords hit the same place. He threw out formation flags to delay the space kill formation. The goal was to buy him some extra time. Rumble 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 Zishu hacked the formation heart and there was a huge explosion. Before the crack could self-repair, the arm-sized lightning swords landed on the formation heart. Before the rumbling sound died down, Emo rained down tens more lightning swords. Soon, the formation heart turned to dust. Hearing a crack, Emo knew the spirit power supply had finished rotating, but so what? He had already broken the formation heart of the space kill formation. There were just simulated space distortions here while the space death rays and ripples started to dissipate. Emo wiped the sweat from his head. He didn't expect the formation heart to be this tough even without defenses. If he didn't use the lightning sword for assurance, the power supply exchange would have finished before he broke the formation heart. If this was really the case, then he would have to run back to the Golden Page world. Luckily he was very careful and completely disintegrated the formation heart to dust. However, there were still many formation hearts in the bottom of the pond, including formation binding, domain simulation. Emo didn't touch the attack formations from 28th to 36th domain. He took out a jade box and put Chu Xiaoyi's remains inside and left it in the Golden Page world. After doing this, Emo saw a broken shard below Chu Xiaoyi. He probably used this to block the space kill formation before, but now it was torn to pieces. Emo stood at the pond and looked coldly at all the formation hearts inside. With his formation skills, he could completely remove them all, but Emo didn't do this. He wanted to do it the most satisfying way, using lightning sword. Rumble 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 black lightning landed inside the pond non-stop. Moments later, the air above the pond was covered in black lightning swords. The more lightning swords Emo used, the more he felt satisfied. The most respectful way for a formation grandmaster to break another formation grandmaster's formation was to use his own formation skills without damaging the formation. The most coarse way was to damage it with attacking means, making the formation unable to work. The most insulting way was to smash the formation to pieces. Emo was doing this the most insulting way. He didn't look at the formation heart and just sent lightning sword down. He even let out a recording crystal, recording the whole process. He knew it was hard to meet the guy who set the formations up, but if he did, he would show him this crystal ball. As he smashed the formation at the bottom of the pond to pieces, the space distortions and domain also disappeared. Eventually, this area of space turned into an ordinary place. But even so, Emo kept using lightning sword until he blasted the bottom of the pond to pieces. There wasn't even half a formation flag left before Emo stopped to breathe. Now, the first 27 domains weren't damaged, but starting from 28th domain, there was nothing left. Even so, Emo didn't stop here. He shot out tens of formation flags and 15 minutes later, Emo pulled out a huge spirit range from under the ground. This was an extreme grade spirit range. Another 15 minutes later, he pulled out another spirit range. After putting 2 extreme grade spirit range into his Golden Page world, Emo finally felt comfortable. Now, he stopped that recording crystal. Just thinking about how angry this cultivator would be when he saw the crystal ball, Emo felt very good. Yimo went back to the intersection between 36th and 37th domain. The 36th domain appeared again, but Yimo wasn't teleported out. He came to the 35th domain. This place became an ordinary place. Yimo knew he had to go back to the 27th domain to be teleported out. Yimo lost the interest to find the first 27 domains space formations. It misled cultivators but was still a trial place. He didn't need to damage it. Not everyone could learn domain. Sometimes using cultivation essence to form domain wasn't necessarily bad. In the Observer Palace, Su Jingwen had cried a few times already. Yimo had disappeared for nearly 2 months. If she couldn't wait for Yimo to appear, she would rather die here than be in the hands of Shizhong Merchant Association. Su Jingwen was planning to wait a full year, but in just 2 months, the Observer Palace told Su Jingwen and them that they had to leave. The reason was simple: in case someone else was to reach 28th domain, there were too few rooms, so they needed to reorganize and build more rooms. Their rooms need to be rebuilt, so they had to leave here. Impossible. Hearing this news, Yang Yang was furious. Observer Palace has been here for a few hundred years, but it has never been replanned. How come we've just come here for 3 months and it's being replanned? It must be due to the Shizhong Merchant Association. Tang Mengrao frowned. The Observer Palace clearly isn't weaker than Shizhong Merchant Association. Why would they be afraid of them? Su Jingwen had calmed down from her sadness of Yimo's disappearance. She hadn't been in the cultivation realm for long, but in Ninghai City, she was managing a big corporation and knew of the battles. She felt the Observer Palace didn't need to ruin their reputation for the Shizhong Merchant Association. She thought for a moment and asked, was it the Observer Palace who hosted the betting? Chapter 1299. What do you dare to do? Chapter 1299. What do you dare to do? Yang Yang still didn't react, but hearing Su Jingwen ask this, she subconsciously answered, yes, these big stakes are usually held by the Observer Palace itself. Yang Yang immediately said in shock, Sister Jingwen, you're saying we won too many spirit stones from them and thus they… Su Jingwen nodded. It should be right. When Yimo was at the 27th domain, the stakes were 1 to 100 for Yimo getting into the 36th domain. I'm sure we're the only people who bet Yimo would be able to get in. Did they lower the odds when Yimo went into the 28th domain? Yu Chan quickly said, yes, Sister Jingwen, as soon as Martial Uncle Yi went into the 28th domain, the odds dropped to 1 to 8. Su Jingwen nodded. We bet the 1 to 100 and I bet 10 million top-grade spirit stones. If they paid us, they would have to pay 1 billion spirit stones. No matter how big the Merchant Association, it would hurt them greatly. This would be half or even more of their assets. Tang Mengrao nodded. That should be it. If we leave the Observer Palace, the Shizhong Merchant Association wouldn't let us go and Jingwen won't be able to live to see another day. There is no way the Observer Palace will pay us the spirit stones. No reputation is worth 1 billion spirit stones. Then what should we do? Yu Chan held the 2 betting cards. These 2 cards had never left her hand. Su Jingwen frowned. It was death to go out, but they had to do so. That city lord Luo Yujian just casually helped them. He couldn't be helping all the time. They could only rely on themselves now. Suddenly, there was a wave of laughter outside the palace. Palace Lord Yu wants to rebuild the Observer Palace. The Shizhong Merchant Association decides to support with 3 million spirit stones. The girl in the first room is not bad, ha ha ha. There was a soft voice, thank you Association Leader Meng, the rest of the things has nothing to do with the Observer Palace. We need to rearrange this place, it has nothing to do with you. Association Leader Meng, I won't be staying for long. No problem, haha. Meng Sho didn't seem annoyed at all. When Yimo came to the 27th domain, he felt his body become lighter. He looked up and he was already at the place he came in the domains from. The girl who stayed at the Observer Palace is in trouble now. There's no way Association Leader Meng will let her go. One body condensation state didn't even finish his sentence and he stopped because he saw Yimo who suddenly appeared. Then, he stuttered, Chen Bei, you're fine. Yimo frowned and said coldly, don't give me bullshit, what did you mean? The other body condensation state was also shocked but smarter. He quickly bowed and said, Qian Bei, after you went into the 36th domain, your dot disappeared. Then, people outside said you died, so that Meng Shuo is going to look for trouble with your wife. He tried but was stopped by Vice City Lord Luo. Now, the Observer Palace is going to be reorganized, so they requested your family and friends to leave within a time or they would be kicked out. Before he finished, Yimo had disappeared. This body condensation state wiped his head before looking around carefully. Shizhong Merchant Association is finished, Meng Shuo is done for, Observer Palace. The first body condensation state reacted quicker this time and quickly pulled the other body condensation state cultivator. Let's go quickly and watch the truth realization state battle. Then, he ran off first. In the Observer Palace, Palace Lord Yu stood at the door and said to Su Jingwen and them coldly, the Observer Palace is going to be reorganized. Everyone else has left, you have half an hour. If you don't leave, I will forcefully send you away. What right do you have to tell us to go? I paid spirit stones, this room has no time restriction, Su Jingwen said coldly. Palace Lord Yu said in contempt, there are no more cultivators in the heaven domains. You're staying here to hide from your enemies. Do we have to wait for you to be done with hiding before we reorganize our palace? You have to leave no matter what. I, Yu Zhongtong, don't have time to talk with irrelevant people, you have 15 minutes left. This time, before Su Jingwen could speak, an icy cold voice sounded, what if I don't want to go, what do you dare to do? Yu Zhongtong turned around to see the cold-faced Yimo. He had never seen Yimo before, but Yimo came here silently without him noticing at all. But Meng Shuo was dazed and asked in shock, you're not dead. He felt his mind go blank. Yimo wasn't dead, what was going on? If Yimo wasn't dead, it meant he had to die. He brought this on himself. The first time Yimo didn't kill him, but yet he had to cause trouble again. Yimo, Su Jingwen flew into Yimo's arms as soon as she saw him. The helplessness disappeared. Woo-woo, I knew you were fine, I knew it. Tears flew out of her eyes uncontrollably. If possible, she really didn't want Yimo to go those dangerous places, but Su Jingwen knew that it was impossible. Only powerful people could talk and survive in the cultivation realm. Yimo thought of the moment when Su Jingwen first invited him to dinner. At that time, he had never thought Su Jingwen would cry. But ever since she came with him, this wasn't the first time he saw her like this. It was that time that Su Jingwen said to him, I'm older than you can call me Sister Jingwen. Sister Jingwen, Yimo called out, feeling warm in his heart. Su Jingwen was dazed and immediately thought of the same memory. Yimo knew how she was feeling and patted her back, staring, and then stared coldly at Meng Shuo, who tried to leave. You want to go? Meng Shuo shivered and quickly saluted with his fists. Yi Qian Bei, it was a misunderstanding, I was coming back to explain to you. You knew I would come out. Yimo's voice grew colder. Su Jingwen felt Yimo's killing intent and came out of his arms, silently walking behind him. She detested this Meng Shuo from the bottom of her heart. Brother Yi. Yang Zhongshan and them walked out of the room too. They knew they were saved now that Yimo was here. Yimo looked at Yang Zhongshan's shoulder and asked, what's this? Meng Shuo said before Yang Zhongshan could, my Shizhong Merchant Association's people had a conflict with him. They accidentally hurt his shoulder, I came to apologize. I didn't expect Yi Qian Bei is fortunate to be fine, this is great. Su Jingwen looked at Meng Shuo in contempt and said, Yimo, kill him. Su Jingwen rarely had any killing intent and would never ask Yimo to kill someone. But Meng Shuo insulted her. She knew if Yimo didn't come out, she would be in a situation worse than death at his hands. Meng Shuo shivered and pulled out the crescent blade. He knew that it was impossible to escape from Yimo. Finally, Yu Zhongtong realized that this young man was the person he was trying to kick away, the cultivator who went into the 36th domain. His face began to spasm when he saw he couldn't see Yimo's power level at all. He began to regret now, he shouldn't have cooperated with Meng Shuo. At this time, Meng Shuo suddenly said, Palace Lord Yu, we're on the same side now. If I die, you won't be doing very well either. The best thing is to join forces. Chapter 1300, Kill Truth Realization State. Chapter 1300, Kill truth realization state. Yu Zhongtong thought. He was truth realization state level 6 and Meng Shuo was truth realization state level 3. If they joined forces, Yimo might really have some concern. However, he immediately saw the scorn in Yimo's eyes and was shook. He felt Yimo heard the sound transmission between the two. So Yu Zhongtong didn't dare to move. This young cultivator definitely was a truth realization state peak stage, being to be able to hear truth realization state sound transmission. In fact, Yimo would be quite concerned if Meng Shuo and Yu Zhongtong joined forces. He wasn't by himself. Even if he was, there would be quite some pressure to face a truth realization state primary stage and middle stage cultivator. While Yu Zhongtong was hesitating, Yimo hacked out with Zishu and illusion cloud formation kill strike without hesitation. Meng Shuo knew Yimo's power and took things seriously. Before Yimo even attacked, he used Crescent Blade to send over a dense clutter of red killing rays towards Yimo. With Meng Shuo's full-powered attack, the force of the Crescent Blade seemed dominating. The red killing rays came in waves. Even Yu Zhongtong was shook. He was prepared that if Meng Shuo could hold on, he would attack Yimo as well, but if Meng Shuo couldn't stand off at all, he wouldn't move at all. Meng Shuo also used a low-grade cultivation artifact shield on the side. He thought that even if Yimo was truth realization state peak stage, the killing ray of the Crescent Blade would make Yimo concerned or retreat a little. Then, during that time, he would risk getting injured to capture Su Jingwen. If he had no hostage, he would be killed by Yimo for sure. But soon, Meng Shuo felt something was wrong. He released his shield, but it floated slow like a feather in the sky. The next moment, he felt his domain crumple, and when he could react, he was completely in Yimo's domain. He seemed to be swallowed by a swamp and couldn't move much. That heaven-covering purple ray swept over and Meng Shuo was shook. If this continued, he would be instantly disintegrated. Meng Shuo burned his essence blood like crazy, wanting to escape from Yimo's domain. He was certain he had never seen a domain this powerful. This wasn't great completion, this was beyond it. Asterisk thud 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 asterisk Yu Zhongtong just realized that Meng Shuo's crescent blade and the red beams clashed on an octagonal cauldron that appeared above Yimo's head. It couldn't hurt Yimo at all. The first time Yimo fought Meng Shuo, Yimo didn't even use the octagonal cauldron and completely defeated Meng Shuo. Now that he was disaster transformation state tertiary stage and his domain was in great completion, he used the octagonal cauldron instead. This wasn't to say he grew weaker, but this fight was completely different. Last time, Meng Shuo didn't take Yimo seriously at all and didn't use his full power. It was normal he was almost killed by Yimo. This time, Meng Shuo treated Yimo as someone more powerful than him and that used his full power. Yimo still chose to use the octagonal cauldron against a full-powered truth realization state level 3. The difference between a disaster transformation state and truth realization state was huge. Only an absurd cultivator like Yimo could ignore the difference. Meng Shuo barely broke free from Yimo's domain but was swept away by countless purple sword rays. The shield was smacked away by the purple ray. Illusion cloud formation kill strike had formed. No matter how powerful Meng Shuo was, there was no going back. With a splurge, blood arrows shot into the air. Meng Shuo watched his body get devoured by the killing rays, and when it ravaged his body, he suddenly realized and looked at Yimo with extreme shock. Your disaster. How could Yimo let him say disaster transformation state? Zishu spun and Meng Shuo's essence spirit was killed. Yimo waved and a storage ring disappeared into his hands. This was the first time he killed a truth realization state cultivator head-on. Even if he wasn't a truth realization state cultivator, he was at the peak of Luo Yu cultivation world now. Yu Zhongtong looked dazedly at the bloody mist Meng Shuo had become. Meng Shuo had never been afraid of anyone in the heaven domains. He was on good terms with the Xing Cultivator Association leader, so even the Vice City Lord paid his respects to him. Yet this guy was killed in a few moves. This was too scary. This absurdly young cultivator killed Meng Shuo so easily. Just who was he? Yimo looked at Yu Zhongtong calmly and said, "Palace Lord Yu, the big hotel abuses the clients. I seem to see that your extreme-grade luxury room has no time limit. How come I just went out for a spin and you're kicking people away?" Are you full of shit, or is the Observer Palace full of shit? Yu Zhongtong shivered and remembered that he also offended Yi Mo. With Yi Mo's display of power, he was done for if no one helped him. Yu Zhongtong couldn't control himself sweating. Why did he offend someone like this? If someone else dared to say he was bullshitting, he would have crushed that person to pulp, but he didn't even dare to argue back to Yi Mo. However, he knew he had to answer back to Yi Mo, so he saluted with his fists respectfully and said, Yi Qianbei, Wen was too rude to chose this time to reorganize the Observer Palace. But it was due to Qianbei being too amazing before, you went into the 36th domain. This squeezed up the Observer Palace. It's my bad this time, please forgive me. The Observer Palace is willing to compensate Yi Qianbei's losses. Yi Mo was furious, but he didn't plan on killing Yu Zhongtong. Even if he killed Yu Zhongtong now, it wouldn't change the fact that the cultivation realm was survival of the fittest. Plus, Yu Zhongtong was a truth realization state middle stage master. This was very rare no matter where. He killed Meng Shuo already. If he killed Yu Zhongtong, it might make the West Cultivator City unhappy. Just when Yi Mo was planning to make Yu Zhongtong compensate, Yu Chan suddenly said, Marshal Uncle Yi, the Observer Palace owed us more than 1 billion spirit stones, but they still haven't given them to us now. I suspect that they want to kick us out so they can keep the spirit stones and let the Shizhong Merchant Association annihilate us. Yu Zhongtong's face looked bad upon hearing this. He knew that he had successfully aroused the killing intent of Yi Mo. Yu Chan explained, Sister Jingwen bet 10 million spirit stones on you getting into the 36th domain when the odds were 1 to 100. Now, not only did they not pay us what we won, we didn't even get our original money back. Is that so? Yi Mo's killing intent surged again. Yu Zhongtong felt he was like a shaky boat in a blizzard under such intense killing intent. Qianbei, please calm down. Bei didn't intend to take the spirit stones. Bei was planning to give them the spirit stones after they came out, Yu Zhongtong quickly said, seeing that Yi Mo was about to attack. He knew that if Yi Mo attacked, it would be fast like lightning and never ending like rain. Yi Mo knew Yu Zhongtong was lying, so he sneered and released Zi Shu. Yi Qianbei, please hold up. West Cultivator City's Luo Zhenyu greets Yi Qianbei. Someone quickly dashed here. He wasn't tall and looked a little scholarly. Seeing this, Yi Mo didn't dare to be rude and also saluted with his fists. City Lord Luo, I don't dare to be called Qianbei, just call me Yi Mo. Yi Mo was very grateful to this Luo Yujian. He heard that this Luo Yujian saved Su Jingwen and them the first time. Seeing Yi Mo being so polite to him, Luo Yujian felt surprised and overwhelmed. But he immediately realized it was because he casually helped his family before. Seeing Yi Mo being so polite to him, Luo Yujian felt surprised and overwhelmed. But he immediately realized it was because he casually helped his family before. Before, it was just a spontaneous idea to help. Realizing this, Luo Yujian regretted not helping them more. He just admired that Yi Mo was able to get into the 36th domain, so he helped Su Jingwen. Although he got Yi Mo's good impression, he didn't feel he could say someone like Yi Mo's name, so he saluted with his fists. In that case, I'll call you Brother Yi. Brother Yi, because we in West Cultivator City have the least number of truth realization state cultivators in the West Extreme State, please have mercy on Palace Lord Yu. Yi Mo knew what he meant. Truth realization state cultivator meant power. If human cultivators fought with other powers, truth realization state cultivators were a decisive power. If he killed 2 truth realization state cultivators here, he would be weakening the power of the West Cultivator City. If Yu Zhongtong still didn't know that now was his chance, he would have lived so long for nothing. He quickly took out a storage ring and gave it to Yi Mo. Yi Qianbei, this is 600 million extreme grade spirit stones and 1 extreme grade segmented earth. If Qianbei think it's not enough, Bei will go get more spirit stones. Although he knew that his things were enough for 1 billion spirit stones, the most powerful people in the West Cultivator City weren't here. If Yi Mo wanted to kill him, there was really nothing he could do. That extreme-grade segmented earth was just what Yi Mo needed. It was used for setting up long-distance teleportation formations. Yi Mo took the things and said, that will be fine, on account of City Lord Luo, I'll let you go. Otherwise, I will pull out the spirit range under your palace next time. Hearing this, Yu Zhongtong shivered, thinking this sort of Qian Bei did weird things indeed, pulling out even spirit ranges. Martial Uncle Yi, these are the proofs for the 3 bets. One is for Jingguan's sister, one is for me, and one is for sister Yang Yang. Yu Chan quickly gave the 3 jade slips to Yi Mo. Yi Mo scanned them. How could he not know what Yu Chan was thinking? He gave the jade slips to Yu Zhongtong and took out 2 storage rings, one for Yu Chan and one for Yang Yang. Yu Chan did all this for the spirit stones and happily took it. She even pretended to not see the signal her master was giving her. She had never imagined to get 100 million spirit stones, but now she got it. Even her master wasn't as rich as her. Brother Yi, would you have the time to come to the city lord estate for a chat? Luo Yujian saluted with his fists. Yi Mo quickly said, thank you brother Luo, I still have other things to do. I will be still staying here for another month. If you need anything you can come find me at West Moon Hotel. Luo Yujian helped Su Jingguan and them casually, but it was just a small help. He didn't truly care if Su Jingguan and them died. So he would go help Luo Yujian if he needed, but he didn't want to waste time to go chat with him in the city lord estate. Yi Mo was planning to go to God Beast Mountain Range to see if that 3rd godlord got the ice carrot. Either way, he was about to leave West Extreme State. Luo Yujian saw this and felt pity. He really wanted to connect with Yi Mo, but Yi Mo didn't seem interested in staying in West Cultivator City for long. It seems he would have to go visit him personally at the West Moon Hotel. Just when Luo Yujian wanted to leave, a flaming red messenger flying sword flew into his hands. Luo Yujian looked at it and his face changed drastically. He took a step and left quicker than Yi Mo. Seeing this, Yi Mo didn't care. He was going to take them to annihilate Shizhong Merchant Association, but when he arrived there, he realized that the Merchant Association dispersed as soon as Meng Shuo was dead. No one wanted to stay in Shizhong Merchant Association. When Yi Mo and them got back to the Shiyu Hotel, news that the cultivator who went to the 36th domain didn't die spread throughout the entire city. The stories got more and more absurd that eventually, it became that Yi Mo used a cultivation essence giant hand and easily crushed Meng Shuo. No matter what, 2 things were real: Meng Shuo was killed and that absurd cultivator was in West Moon Hotel. In terms of fame, no place was more famous than West Moon Hotel. The owner of the hotel couldn't stop smiling. There were countless cultivators flocking to West Moon Hotel, but they were all rejected by the owner of the hotel. The reason was simple: the Qian Bei's cultivation must not be disturbed. The West Moon Hotel was scared that Yi Mo would go another place after seeing so many people. This wasn't it. A cauldron-filling state cultivator was sent to watch nearby for ruckus. He was there to stop any people from disturbing the powerful Qian Bei inside. Countless people roamed outside the hotel, but it was impossible to go in. However, today, the owner was troubled. The people who came to visit Yi Mo together were too powerful. One was the 2nd City Lord Yu Ming, 5th Vice City Lord Luo Yujian, one of the 2 association leaders of Xing Cultivator Association Wang Xie, and the number 1 Merchant Association of West Cultivator City. West Cultivator Merchant Association's number 1 paid guest Niu Ruyang were all here. With them here, the owner didn't have the power to stop them all outside. He could only ask them to wait outside while he reported. Just when he didn't know how to explain to Yi Mo, he heard Yi Mo's voice. Since they're all here, let them come. These words were like heavenly music for the owner. Usually, these 4 people would be furious if anyone dared to tell them to wait, but they weren't angry at all now. Luckily, the owner told them Yi Mo would see them. Yi Mo guessed why they came to see him, but he was still a little surprised to see them all come together. Luo Yujian introduced the other people to Yi Mo. Yu Ming was the only female cultivator. She was pretty and spoke softly. Yi Mo didn't expect a woman like her to be the number 2 city lord here. She was much more powerful than Luo Yujian. She was truth realization state level 7. Wang Xie was the person who invited Yi Mo to join Xing Cultivator Association. His age was indistinguishable, but he didn't seem old. He was the strongest of the 4, truth realization state level 9. Niu Ruyang seemed very honest, but he was truth realization state level 8. Yi Mo greeted them, and the first thing Wang Xie did was take out a blue wooden box to Yi Mo. Brother Yi, This is a small gift from the Xing Cultivator Alliance to connect with Brother Yi. Please take it. Yi Mo felt strange. Why Wang Xie would give him a gift the first time he saw him? Did he still want him to join the Xing Cultivator Association? Yi Mo felt strange. Why Wang Xie would give him a gift the first time he saw him? Did he still want him to join the Xing Cultivator Association? Wang Xie still wanted to invite Yi Mo to join them when he first came out of the 28th domain, but now he knew that a powerful being like Yi Mo wasn't going to join them. Seeing this, Yu Ming and Niu Ruyang each took out a jade box for Yi Mo and spoke the same words as Wang Xie. They each had spirit sense restrictions, but they were very simplistic. Yi Mo's spirit sense blade easily swiped through and saw what was inside. Wang Xie's jade box contained a green blade. It was a low-grade immortal artifact. Yi Mo was shook and thought about why Wang Xie gave him such precious gift. However, low-grade immortal artifact was far from as precious as his Z shoe, so he didn't get truly moved. Yu Ming's gift represented the City Lord estate. Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense in. It was a Mai Sha flame. It was ranked 13th in the cultivation realm. However, he just glanced at it and lost interest. Niu Ruyang's jade box had about 10 drops of 10,000-year stalagmite marrow. It was extremely precious to other people, but to him it was nothing. Yi Mo lost interest in all 3 boxes and frowned. What do you guys mean? I'm just passing by the city, but you guys give me such precious gifts, I don't think I can take them. The 4 were dazed. Yi Mo didn't even open these jade boxes and said he couldn't take these gifts. What did he mean? They wouldn't dare to believe Yi Mo's spirit sense could pierce the spirit sense restrictions. Wang Xie seemed surprised. If Yi Mo saw the things, it would be much easier for them to talk. But Yi Mo didn't even open them and rejected them. Seeing this, he got up and saluted with his fists. Brother Yi, it's this. We Xing Cultivator Alliance took out this gift wanting to invite Brother Yi to be our Grand Paid Elder. Wang Xie paused here, but Yi Mo knew what he meant. Yi Mo waved his hand. I'm going to leave the West Cultivator City soon. I'm not too interested in your association's Grand Paid Elder position. Wang Xie continued, I know Brother Yi can't stay at our association, but this time, we brought a low-grade immortal artifact just to connect with Brother Yi. Please, don't think it's too low of a gift. Then Wang Xie looked at Yi Mo's face. He said this because no cultivator, not even Truth Realization State Peak Stage, would be able to hear the words immortal artifact and sit calmly. But he was disappointed to find that Yi Mo's face was very calm, as though he could buy the likes of low-grade immortal artifacts on the streets any time. Yu Ming and them were more shocked. The Xing Cultivator Association was even willing to bring out the low-grade immortal artifact. Were their gifts too shabby? Yi Mo sneered. He knew that this Wang Xie wasn't that generous. A generous cultivator wouldn't create a bloody place like the Xing Cultivator Alliance. Plus, he knew the reason that taking someone's things meant he had to go help him. Seeing Yu Ming about to speak, Yi Mo stopped her and said, just tell me the purpose of coming here. If I can help I will help, but if not, then please leave. If he wasn't going to leave Su Jingwen and them here for a while when he went to the God Beast mountain range, he would have rejected them straight away. Yu Ming's eyes flashed with a sliver of helplessness and he could only say, Brother Yi, you probably know of the West Extreme Sand River, right? Yi Mo nodded. He heard from Yang Yang that other than the Demon Lands, the Sand River was the largest. It was also a very dangerous place. Yu Ming said immediately, there has been no one able to ascend into the immortal realm for a few thousand years here. I heard that it's the same with the other states. Even if you reach Truth Realization State Peak Stage, you can't feel the immortal ascension divine damnation. Yi Mo heard about this and immediately began to take notice. With enough cultivation resources, it wouldn't take long for him to reach Truth Realization State. Seeing Yi Mo's interest, Yu Ming said, the Xing Cultivator Association has been searching all the big ruins and ancient cultivation homes in West Extreme State. Even in the Sand River, there are many people from the Xing Cultivator Association, so they know the most amount of ancient cultivation ruins. A year ago, they found a sealing ground in the Sand River. Wang Xie continued, yes, a disaster transformation state peak stage cultivator from our association found it, he's called Chong Yu. He's also a level 7 formation Grand Master. He said that the seal was a dimension seal. Such seals are very rare in the cultivation world. Yimo glanced at Wang Xie. Since it's a dimension seal, how do you guys know about it? With Yimo's formation skills, he knew what it was. Dimension seals weren't something ordinary cultivators could notice. Even if you walked past it, you wouldn't be able to see it. Even he might not be able to see it. Wang Xie quickly explained, it was a coincidence that Chong Yu was able to see it. He stayed in the sand river for too long and saw hallucinations. He attacked the hallucination with his magic artifact. The two cultivators with him quickly stopped him. Chong Yu woke up soon and said he felt other spirit power in the dimension. Yimo frowned. Usually, there wouldn't be other spirit power waves if you attacked an empty place with your own cultivation essence, as there were no obstructions. Seeing Yimo's suspicion, Wang Xie quickly said, the other two with Chong Yu didn't believe it either, but Chong Yu kept attacking with his magic artifact, and indeed, a dimension seal was revealed sometime after under the attacks. When news got back, Association Leader Zhuo and I felt this wasn't simple, so Association Leader Zhuo went to check it personally. It was indeed a dimension seal, and it was only tip of the iceberg. After Association Leader Zhuo checked the seal, he came to the conclusion that this seal sealed us West Extreme State from going to other dimensions. This meant that as long as this seal was present, we West Extreme State cultivators would be forever unable to ascend to another dimension, the immortal realm. Yimo fell silent. It was too absurd that someone could stop the cultivators of this realm from immortal ascension. Just how much power was needed to do that? Even if he reached truth realization state peak stage, he wouldn't be able to seal the tip of the iceberg of a realm. This had nothing to do with formation skills. Seeing Yimo fall silent, Yuming said, due to this, we've sent 5 truth realization state cultivators, and even the God Beast Mountain Range and Heartless Forest sent 5 truth realization state each just to break this seal. Yimo thought that the big and second God Lord weren't at the God Beast Mountain Ranges. It seemed they went to the Sand River. Wang Xie said, Brother Yi might not believe it, but once a sliver of the seal was opened, the inside was filled with immortal crystals. The City Lord of West Cultivator City even suspects that there's an immortal range below supplying the power to this seal. Immortal crystals? Immortal range? Yimo couldn't keep calm anymore and got up abruptly. He wanted to help with the seal, but that wasn't enough to attract him to go. He wasn't some savior. He was thinking if there was the same seal in South Peace State. He only needed 1 immortal crystal to break through 1 level. If he got so many immortal crystals and even 1 immortal range, everyone around him would be able to cultivate very fast. Wang Xie quickly said, that's right, immortal crystals. As for an immortal range, it's City Lord Xie's guess. At this moment, the owner of the hotel notified anxiously, the 3rd God Lord of God Beast Mountain Range came to visit, saying he has what Master Yi needs. Hearing this, Yimo rejoiced and said, invite him in, quick. No, I'll go myself. Then Yimo went out desperately. Ha ha ha. Before Yimo walked out of the door, 3rd God Lord Jiao Huanjing's laughter sounded. He quickly came up and saluted with his fists. Brother Yi, I finally got what you needed. Brother Yi, have a look, is this it? Ha ha ha. Before Yimo walked out of the door, 3rd God Lord Jiao Huanjing's laughter sounded. He quickly came up and saluted with his fists. Brother Yi, I finally got what you needed. Brother Yi, have a look, is this it? Then, Jiao Huanjing took out an icy cold jade box to Yimo. Yimo took it and immediately knew it was an ice carrot. He scanned his spirit sense in and immediately knew that it was only picked a few days ago. In his joy, Yimo quickly took it and said with extreme gratitude, Brother Jiao, you've really helped me out a great deal. If you need anything for me to do, just ask me, I will do it to the best of my ability. Yimo was truly grateful. This 3rd God Lord didn't seem to have a good temper, but he did things quickly. Before he even went to God Beast Mountain Range, he brought the things over. Yimo knew that someone like 3rd God Lord wouldn't be beaten here, but the West Cultivator City and God Beast Mountain Range didn't have a very harmonious relationship. The ice carrot was too important to him. Now that he had a few more extreme grade spirit ranges, he would be able to barely reach disaster transformation state peak stage. Once he was disaster transformation state peak stage, he would need pills to reach truth realization state. Jiao Huanzheng giving him the ice carrot was like giving him truth realization state. Jiao Huanzheng felt Yi Mo's hospitality and was surprised, but he quickly said, "It was my fortune that I could connect with someone like Brother Yi. I came here firstly to bring the present over, but secondly to ask Brother Yi to help concoct a few truth marrow pills." Jiao Huanzheng was straightforward too and spoke of his desire before he even sat down. Wang Xie and them were already very shocked seeing that the third God Lord came here personally, but now that they heard him ask Yi Mo to concoct the truth marrow pill, they all got up in shock. "Brother Yi can really concoct the truth marrow pill?" Wang Xie sucked in a cold breath. Third God Lord then saluted to Wang Xie and them. "Jiao greets you guys. In order to see Brother Yi quickly I came here without notice, please forgive me." Yu Ming saluted back. It's fine. She looked at Yi Mo in more shock. Truth Marrow Pill was an extreme grade pill for truth realization state cultivators to recover cultivation essence and injuries. Truth realization state cultivators were the most powerful beings in the cultivation realm, but they had an extreme weakness. If they were injured or depleted in power, it would cost a huge amount of spirit stones and time to recover their cultivation essence, but Truth Marrow Pill made up for this. However, it was a level 9 heaven grade pill. Yu Ming and them were shocked because if Yi Mo could concoct it, then he was a level 9 pill king. "Brother Yi, you're a level 9 pill king." Niu Ruyang didn't speak much, but even he was shocked now. A level 9 pill king sat before him. This was more shocking than him passing the 36th domain. Jiao Huanjing just realized that the people here didn't know Yi Mo was a level 8 pill king, so he said with satisfaction, "Brother Yi is now at level 8 pill king peak. It will just be a moment for him to reach level 9 pill king. It's fine, we have a lot of spirit herbs for truth marrow pills. Brother Yi, you can try all you want, we'll come again if it didn't work." Yi Mo's mouth spasmed upon hearing these words. Only he would be able to say that he had plenty of materials for the truth marrow pill. Now that Yi Mo got ice carrot, he was feeling extremely well. He had never felt so good before. He let Jiao Huanjing sit down before saluting to the rest of the people. "That's right, I'm not a level 9 pill king yet, I'm only a level 8 pill king, but I should be fine concocting truth marrow pill for Brother Jiao." Yi Mo wasn't bluffing. He had wasted nearly 20 level 9 spirit herbs in the hotel. It would only be a short time for him to reach level 9 pill king. Yi Mo was really a level 9 pill king? Wang Xie and them took a cold breath in. They didn't know it at all, but the dim-witted third god lord knew instead. They immediately became excited. Level 9 pill king, if they connected well with Yi Mo, only one cauldron of pills would be enough for them. It was very hard for truth realization state cultivators to cultivate. Other than the lack of resources, it was due to the lack of level 9 heaven pills. Although there were 4 or 5 truth realization state cultivators here, only one used pills to reach truth realization state, and that was Wang Xie. The rest of them used powerful spirit herbs, but how many of those spirit herbs were there? It was also very dangerous to use just spirit herbs to reach truth realization state. The potency of the herbs might be too strong and it was very easy to die. The West Extreme State had an abundance of spirit herbs. There were ample high-level spirit herbs, otherwise, there would only be a few truth realization state here. Suddenly, Yu Ming thought of something and asked, "Third God Lord, do you suddenly need Brother Yi to concoct truth marrow pills to go to Sand River?" Third God Lord's eyes turned sad. "That's right, our big God Lord was heavily injured at the sealing grounds and his cultivation essence hasn't recovered. I need to ask Brother Yi to concoct truth marrow pills so I can go there." Luo Yujian also said to Yi Mo, "Brother Yi, it's indeed so. Not long ago, we also got a messenger flying sword saying that the third city lord of West Cultivator City is also heavily injured. So, we came to invite you. Brother Yi is going to Sand River too?" Third God Lord looked at Yi Mo in confusion. He wasn't a West Extreme State cultivator. Why would he intervene in such thing? Before Yi Mo could reply, a crisp female cultivator's voice sounded, "Jiao Huanjing, if you don't come out in 3 seconds I will tear this shabby hotel down." Hearing this voice, Zhao Huanjing's face changed and he charged out without even telling Yi Mo and them followed out too. Yu Ming and them came too. Who dared to say such a thing here? Two pretty women stood outside the hotel. They didn't seem old, but Yi Mo knew that the red-robed woman couldn't be young. She was truth realization state level 7 peak. The woman behind her wore a blue dress and Yi Mo felt she was only 20 years old, but her power was hollow spirit state level 1. Her talent was on the same level as Jing Yingli. Other than absurd talent, her beauty was on par with Su Jingwen. Her long hair laid behind her back and she stood there perfectly behind the red-robed woman. She didn't say anything and had a frigid Kai sister Fei Huan. Jian Huanjing's face was very bad. The red-robed woman said in contempt, "Zhao Huanjing, don't try to get close to me. Give me my ice carrot and tie yourself up and apologize at my snow forest pond or I will slice your dragon head off today." Then, she released 2 snow-white magic artifacts, each with an ice flower on it. With this, the space around there froze. Moments later, there were even cracking sounds in the air. The cultivators watching on the side quickly retreated. Yi Mo immediately knew that this domain was in great completion. This was a frozen domain. Zhao Huanjing was no match for her. Yi Mo was going to watch and help Zhao Huanjing later, but now he had to stand out as it involved the ice carrot. He walked out and said politely, "Sister, if there's anything, please come have a talk inside. If brother Zhao offended you, I will apologize to you for him." Then Yi Mo saluted with his fists. The red-robed woman sneered. "What thing are you? How dare you call me sister?" Phut then, her frost domain swept at Yi Mo. Yi Mo was such a young cultivator, at most hollow spirit state. Clearly he was no good guy to be with Zhao Huanjing, so what if she killed him? Yi Mo felt this domain's force and his face changed. This woman was so cruel. If it was some ordinary person, how could they survive? Even if they were to survive, they would be heavily injured and their cultivation life would be over. Yi Mo's fury rose and so did his power. His domain expanded out and at the same time he released Zi Shu. This was the first time he fought with a truth realization state tertiary stage. Seeing Yi Mo dare to release his magic artifact, the red-robed woman looked contemptuous. The killing intent in her eyes grew. Just when she wanted to tear Yi Mo apart with her domain, there were light cracking sounds. The cracking sound was small, but those stronger cultivators nearby could all hear it. Those truth realization state cultivators were shocked. This was the sound of domain shattering. The cracking sound was small, but those stronger cultivators nearby could all hear it. Those truth realization state cultivators were shocked. This was the sound of domain shattering. Only domains that were near great completion would have this cracking sound. Everyone saw the power of the red-robed woman's domain. It was dominating, but they didn't see Yi Mo do anything at all and that red-robed woman's domain shattered. The only explanation was that Yi Mo used his own domain to shatter it. Using one's own domain to shatter another's domain, how great was the mastery in domain? Great completion, or even better. The red-robed woman's domain couldn't resist Yi Mo's domain at all. Yi Mo's power was too astonishing, but then they remembered that Yi Mo was the absurd cultivator who passed the Heaven 36 domains and realized it didn't seem all that absurd. Seeing this, the red-robed woman's face changed. Even a truth realization state peak stage cultivator wouldn't be able to break her domain without even moving. Immediately, she felt a confinement of dimension. It grew bigger and bigger. She even had the feeling that eventually, she might not even be able to move. She didn't dare to hesitate and sliced out her dual blades with full power. Howling sounds flew in the air. It was like the coldest winter, when blizzards howled. 2 mist-like beams sliced across the space between them, looming over Yi Mo. Yi Mo also heard the cracking sound. He knew his domain that hadn't formed yet cracked under this attack. He knew that his domain was still too weak against truth realization state tertiary stage cultivators. He used Zi Shu immediately too. An extremely vibrant purple ray sliced across the air towards the red-robed woman. Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike. The killing intent she had for Yi Mo made Yi Mo also have killing intent. Yi Mo was never going to show mercy to those who wanted to kill him. The cultivators nearby saw the extremely vibrant purple ray and were mesmerized. But those truth realization state cultivators saw clearly that this purple ray had the determination to kill. Rumble the two clashed together. White mist and purple sword rays splashed everywhere. Those cultivators nearby immediately felt very cold and all used their defense magic artifacts without hesitation. Crack Z Shu was slowed down, but the dual blades were hacked away. In her shock, the woman barely used a middle-grade cultivation artifact shield in time. Crack another thud, and the shield was hacked apart due to lack of cultivation essence. Finally, Z Shu's momentum stopped. The woman immediately spat blood and flew out a few hundred meters before stopping. That cold blue-dressed woman finally began to worry and charged up, asking, "Master, are you okay?" Z Shu came back to Yi Mo's hands with the woman's blood, but Yi Mo didn't stop there. He took a step forward and his power rose drastically. The cultivators watching were all shook. A truth realization state level 7 cultivator couldn't even last 7 minutes and was injured. The blue-robed girl had a terrified look seeing that Yi Mo was going to keep attacking, but before she said anything, Third God Lord came up to Yi Mo. "Thank you, Brother Yi, for helping, but please have mercy." Yi Mo looked at him in confusion. "This person wanted to kill you, but you still want to give her mercy?" Third God Lord smiled bitterly. "I did steal the ice carrot from her. I thought she wouldn't notice so early. By the time I would have come back from Sand River, even if she knew Big Brother and Second Brother would help me. However, I didn't expect her to follow me right here. And she's the owner of the Snow Forest Pond, she can't be killed. I won't explain the reason, it's too complicated." Yi Mo nodded and put away Z Shu. Seeing this, Third God Lord rejoiced and said to Yi Mo quickly, "Brother Yi, you're really a good friend, thank you. Ruo Fei, move aside." The red-robed woman called back her weapon and said coldly, "If I wasn't careless, how could I be injured so easily? If you want to fight again, very well, let's fight again." Yi Mo ignored her. If she dared to fight again, he wasn't going to show mercy. He took her ice carrot, but she tried to take his life. The blue-robed girl changed the topic. "Master, let's go greet paid Elder Nyo." The red-robed woman nodded. "Go." However, Nyo Ruyang already walked over and greeted the red-robed woman politely. "Goddess Mu, long time no see, you're still as beautiful as ever." The red-robed woman grunted but didn't say anything. The blue-robed girl quickly said, "Ruo Fei greets Uncle Nyo." Yi Mo looked at the girl in confusion. Seeing this, Third God Lord thought Yi Mo was interested in her. After all, when he came to the God Beast mountain range, he had quite a lot of pretty women next to him. So, he explained quietly to Yi Mo, "Brother Yi, that girl is called Len Ruofei, she's the personal disciple of Mu Fei Huan. Her talent is extremely good, she's also the daughter of the West Cultivator Merchant Association leader's daughter." Then he said, "It's not impossible if Brother Yi wants her, but she's the fiancée of our younger master, if you want." Although he kept his voice low, almost everyone heard this. Yi Mo smiled bitterly. Did this Third God Lord not know about sound transmissions? Would he be interested in that blue-robed girl? Was he crazy? "Jiao Huanjing, shut your mouth. If you dare to say bullshit again, I will rip your mouth." The red-robed woman roared. Jian Huanjing heard this and looked at the very embarrassed but helpless Len Ruofei and realized he went over the line, but he didn't mind. He said to Mu Fei Huan, "Sister Fei Huan, let me introduce you. This is Brother Yi Mo, a level 9 pill king." As for power, you saw it just then. Mu Huanfei was going to curse more, but hearing that Yi Mo was level 9 pill king, she ate her words. She looked at Yi Mo in shock. Level 9 pill king, how is this possible? Not just her but all the cultivators watching the show were all very shaken. Level 9 pill king was a being that only existed in legends, but now they saw it right before their eyes. His really level 9 pill king? Mu Feihuan eased her tone. Jiao Huanjing said contently, "Of course, would I lie? The extreme-grade snowsang pills were concocted by Brother Yi. So this time I took your ice carrot so Brother Yi can help me concoct some truth marrow pills. Now you understand." But then, Mu Feihuan immediately got reminded of why she came and she roared, "Jiao Huanjing, give me my ice carrot." Jiao Huanjing cursed his mouth. He brought it up again and angered her. He quickly explained, Sister Fei Huan, you know Big Brother is heavily injured at Sand River and I need the pills to save his life. I can only ask Brother Yi for help. However, Mu Fei Huan instead looked calmly at Yi Mo. Is the ice carrot on you? Yi Mo said calmly, of course it's on me, but it has nothing to do with you because I didn't get it from you. Yi Mo said calmly, of course it's on me, but it has nothing to do with you because I didn't get it from you. But suddenly Mu Fei Huan laughed. You're right, you didn't get it from me, but Jiao Huanjing stole it from me. If I'm going to ask it back from Jiao Huanjing, are you not planning to give it back? Yi Mo was scared of this the most. Now that she said it, he felt unhappy, but he had no way to argue. If she came a day later, he might have left West Extreme State already, but now he faced the danger of losing the ice carrot again. Giving that up was the same as giving up reaching truth realization state. He had copious amounts of enemies, and if he gave up reaching truth realization state in a short time, it would not only be dangerous for him but also for those around him. Sister Fei Huan. Jiao Zhenhuang saw Yi Mo get closer and had to speak. If Yi Mo was forced to give up the ice carrot, not only would he lose face but he would also lose the right to ask Yi Mo to concoct pills. Mu Fei Huan glared coldly at Third God Lord and he was stopped in his tracks. Just when Yi Mo was thinking of a way to keep the ice carrot, Mu Fei Huan suddenly asked, are you a level 9 pill king? Yes. Yi Mo said this without hesitation. He felt she asked this with a purpose and he might get to keep the ice carrot that way. Then can you concoct Wen blood pill? Mu Fei Huan asked. If you have blood qian fruit I can concoct it in 5 days' time, Yi Mo said coldly. Wen blood pill was a level 9 heaven pill. If a cultivator's cultivation went wrong and the contorted meridians couldn't create blood, then his body would be ruined. Only the Wen blood pill could solve this problem. Those cultivators above hollow spirit state could rebuild their body, but those below hollow spirit state didn't have essence spirit, so they could only use the Wen blood pill. Can you really concoct the Wen blood pill? There was surprise and joy in Mu Fei Huan's eyes. She immediately took out a jade box and said, there are 2 blood qian fruits here. If you can concoct the Wen blood pill, I'll give that ice carrot to you. Yi Mo took the jade box calmly, but his heart wasn't so calm. This ice carrot was finally his. Yi Mo breathed easy. With ice carrot, he felt completely assured. He also exclaimed that there were too many high-level spirit herbs in West Extreme State. The blood qian fruit was very rare even in the South Peace State, yet she took it out casually. Seeing Yi Mo look so calm, she was a little worried and said, Brother Yi, this Wen blood pill is extremely important to me, you must concoct for me carefully. Then she seemed to want to think of something to threaten Yi Mo with, but she realized there was nothing, so she said, if you really concoct it, even if you like my disciple, it's not impossible. Hearing this, the blue-robed girl blushed even more and gritted her teeth, but she didn't dare to say anything. Yi Mo said calmly, there's no need to call me Brother Yi, I don't dare to be related to you. I also have a wife, so I don't need your disciple. Then, Yi Mo scorned, no wonder your disciple's fiancé is like a frying pan, it's because she has a master like you. It would be strange if she didn't have a fiancé like that. You really just go find a fiancé for your disciple at any time, I admire you. Mu Fei Huan heard this and her face went green, but she didn't dare to rebuke Yi Mo. She was afraid that if she said that, Yi Mo would throw the jade box back at her. She was begging for Yi Mo to help and she couldn't beat him, so she could only take it. Jian Huanjing saw that his gift for Yi Mo was gone and didn't know how to get Yi Mo to concoct pills for him. Hearing this, he immediately went along with Yi Mo. That's right, the young god lord isn't some good thing. Even I don't like him as well. Mu Fei Huan looked at Jiao Huanjing and asked, Jiao Huanjing, Yi, Pill King has some conflicts with young god lord? Jiao Huanjing sneered. Brother Yi was my guest, and as soon as young god lord appeared he told someone to fight Brother Yi and even tried to kill him on the spot. However, Yi Mo easily beat his henchman. If it wasn't on my account, Brother Yi would have killed that Uzi already. Thinking about this, Mu Fei Huan said, Pill King Yi, if you don't like that Liang Wulan, I can cancel the marriage between him and Ruo Fei at any time. Yi Mo sneered. That's your business, it has nothing to do with me. At this moment the young girl suddenly said something to Niu Ruyang. Niu Ruyang walked up to Yi Mo and said, "Brother Yi, my niece doesn't like that Liang Wulan indeed, please." Yi Mo immediately knew what he meant. He loved easy favors like this, so he looked at Mu Feihuan and said, "I don't like that Liang Wulan indeed. As for your Wen blood pill." Yi Mo paused intentionally. Mu Feihuan wasn't dumb. How could she not know why Yi Mo paused here? So she said, "I actually don't really like this marriage too. When this is over, I will cancel it." Seeing that she was going to keep talking, Yi Mo felt disgusted. He waved his hand and said, "Okay then, 5 days later, come here and get your Wen blood pill." Mu Feihuan felt very unhappy, but she didn't dare to make Yi Mo annoyed of her, so she could only nod. But the blue-robed girl bowed to Mu Feihuan and said, "Ruo Fei, thanks master." Then she bowed to Yi Mo, "Thank you Marshal Uncle Yi." Mu Feihuan just wanted to comfort her when she heard the discussion. Yi Qian Bei passed the Heaven 36 domains, so what if Truth Realization State peak stage came, much less Truth Realization State cultivators? That Meng Shuo was so cocky but was killed in one move. I really didn't expect Yi Qian Bei was a level 9 pill king too. Many years later, I can say I once stood with a level 9 pill king. Mu Feihuan heard this and was dazed, staring at Yi Mo. "You passed the Heaven 36 domains. How is this possible?" Yi Mo wanted to go back, but suddenly Su Jingwen came out and stood by him. Jiao Huanjing saw this opportunity and quickly fawnishly walked up and took out a storage ring. "Last time Brother Yi left quickly and I didn't bring any gifts for sister-in-law. There are a few spirit herbs in here. Please take them, sister-in-law." Su Jingwen was much smaller than him, but Jiao Huanjing couldn't care anymore. Su Jingwen smiled. She knew Yi Mo liked spirit herbs, so she took the storage ring and gave it to Yi Mo before saying, "Thank you Brother Jiao." Jiao Huanjing felt very happy hearing this. No need, these few spirit herbs are nothing." Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense inside and his mouth spasmed again. There were nearly 500 level 8 spirit herbs and more than 40 level 9 spirit herbs. Most importantly, Yi Mo SW3 truth spirit herbs in here too. Yi Mo looked at him speechlessly thinking, "If you gave me this earlier, would I even need to deal with a woman like Mu Feihuan?" Seeing Yi Mo look at him again, Jiao Huanjing thought he was telling him to take out the materials for Truth Marrow Pill, so he quickly took out more than 10 jade boxes and said, "There are all marrow essence mushrooms inside, see if there are enough Brother Yi. I only need a few Truth Marrow Pills." This many mushrooms for just a few Truth Marrow Pills? Were his pill concoction skills that bad? This third god lord underestimated him too much. Yi Mo patted Jiao Huanjing's shoulder and said, "Don't worry Brother Jiao, leave the Truth Marrow Pill to me." Yi Mo patted Jiao Huanjing's shoulder and said, "Don't worry Brother Jiao, leave the Truth Marrow Pill to me." Jiao Huanjing had a short fuse temper, but Yi Mo felt he was a good person and a worthy friend. Yi Mo took the jade box and said to Yu Ming and them, "Let's go up and have a chat. Later, I will go into solitary cultivation for pill concoction." The reason Yi Mo called them up was because he was really interested in the immortal crystals. He didn't need much, just 10 were enough for him to reach Truth Realization State middle stage. They had some things they hadn't said yet, and hearing Yi Mo was going into 5-day pill concoction, they were more worried. Now that Yi Mo invited them to go up, they quickly followed Yi Mo into the guest hall. Mu Feihuan didn't get Yi Mo's invitation, but she needed Yi Mo to concoct pills for her, so she followed too. This time Wang Xie didn't hesitate and was straightforward. "Brother Yi, you know about the Sand River seal already. Now it's not just our Truth Realization State master but also the God Beast Mountain Range and Heartless Forest who went to Sand River. According to the latest news, there were problems at the seal and 6 Truth Realization State masters have died, with many heavily injured." Yi Mo fell silent. He invited them up not to talk about the seal but because he wanted to ask about the seal. Seeing that Yi Mo didn't talk, Yu Ming suddenly took out a crystal ball and passed it to Yi Mo. "Brother Yi, this is a recording of the seal, have a look." Yi Mo immediately took the crystal ball and scanned his spirit sense inside. The first image he saw was a white light pillar. There seemed to be an 8 trigram seal inside. There were countless crystals arranged around the 8 trigrams. Yimo counted there were more than a few thousand. Yimo took a cold breath in. He was certain they were pure immortal crystals. They seemed higher level than the immortal crystals he got before. He felt his heart throbbing. No one here used immortal crystals for cultivation, but he did. They were more potent than pills. Immortal Kai wasn't something that Spirit Kai could compare with. As long as he got 1% of the immortal crystals, he could quickly reach truth realization state peak stage. Yimo now believed that this might really be the seal to this realm. Otherwise, how could there be so many immortal crystals? To be honest, Yimo was really interested. He was planning to leave West Extreme State after getting the ice carrot, but now he wanted to go the Sand River. If he could get all these immortal crystals, how could he be scared of cultivation time? Seeing Yimo fall silent for a long while, Wang Xie asked carefully, "Brother Yi, no matter what you think, we respect your decision." Su Jingwen also didn't want Yimo to go, but she knew Yimo would go for sure. She knew the use of immortal crystals to Yimo as well as to them. Cultivation was a process of constantly searching for good fortune through danger. You may die during this process, but if you were scared of that, you wouldn't get your fortune and your mental state would break apart. If Brother Yi goes to Sand River, Yu Ming is willing to stay with Sister Jingwen. I definitely won't allow trash like Meng Shuo to affect her cultivation. If I go against this oath, let the heavens and earth destroy me, Yu Ming said. Yimo nodded. Knowing that Yimo was going to go, Su Jingwen whispered to him, "Don't worry, I will stay here for cultivation. I won't leave. With City Lord Yu's promise, I will be fine. Brother Yi, we from West Cultivator City chose a few truth realization state cultivators to go with you. You will lead them," Wang Xie quickly said. "I will go. After Brother Yi finishes with the truth marrow pill, I will go back to the God Beast mountain range and bring a few truth realization state beast cultivators to go there together," Zhao Huanjing quickly said. Yimo waved his hand. "I've decided to go Sand River and will leave after 3 days. You just need to give me the map. I will go myself. As for the people the city sends, they can go another way, they need not follow me." Yimo had a half-immortal artifact, plus he was only a disaster transformation state level 7. He didn't want to bring 5 truth realization state cultivators with him. Who knew what would happen on the way? He was very powerful in their eyes, but in fact he wasn't as powerful as they thought. If Wang Xie and Yu Ming joined forces, he would be no match. Even if Wang Xie fought with him, he might not be a match. It was because he knew his power was too weak that he was desperate to reach truth realization state. It was good that Su Jingwen and them stayed at the hotel. He would set up a top-grade level 9 kill and trap formation. He would also leave behind a messenger flying sword so that he would know at first notice if something happened. But Yimo believed with his current prestige, no one would dare to do anything to Su Jingwen and them. "Then my pill?" Mu Huanfei asked. Yimo said calmly, 2 days later, "I will be done with Brother Jiao and your pills." Seeing this, Wang Xie and them quickly pushed the gifts to Yimo. Yimo didn't really care about them, but they were free, so why not take them? He then said to Wang Xie and Yu Ming, "I will concoct 1 cauldron of pills each." Wang Xie and Yu Ming rejoiced, but Niu Ruyang looked at Yimo awkwardly as his gift wasn't taken. Yimo wasn't going to take it, he still had half a jug of 10,000-year stalagmite marrow left. "Brother Niu, I won't take that, but if you can help me get some top-grade forgery materials, I will also help you concoct a cauldron of pills when I come back." Hearing this, Niu Ruyang felt assured. He was scared Yimo wasn't interested in his things. As soon as Yimo said this, he patted his chest. "Brother Yi, don't worry, I will get it done for sure." Len Ruofei also bowed to Yimo and said, "Martial Uncle Yi, if you see my father, please take care of him a little." Yimo nodded but felt it was funny. He knew Len Ruofei's father was West Cultivator Merchant Association's leader, Truth Realization State Level 9 peak. Would he need a Disaster Transformation State Level 7 to take care of him? What a joke. Things were settled, and so Yimo and Su Jingwen went inside for pill concoction, but the rest of the people didn't dare to leave. Yimo didn't plan to go into Golden Page World for pill concoction, but he needed to go Sand River now, so he could only go in and use the time formation disc. 1 month's time would use up some extreme grade spirit ranges, but it didn't matter to him too much. In the 20 days in the time formation disk, Yimo used just 16 days to concoct level 9 heaven grade pills. But due to the rush of time, he used almost all the level 9 spirit herbs for practice. 2 days later, Yimo finished 4 cauldrons of truth marrow pills. He used 7 of the mushrooms and still had 9 left. Yimo just reached level 9 pill king and his skills weren't stable yet. The pity was that he only concocted middle grade and top grade pills, no special grade. As for the bloodwen pill, Yimo concocted it last. He only got 2 blood chen fruits. If he failed, it was hard to bring it up to her. Even so, Yimo failed once. Luckily, the second time he concocted 6 wen blood pills. When Yimo came out, it had only been a day. Mu Feihuan got her 4 wen blood pills and was overjoyed. She bid farewell immediately and left with her disciple. Jiao Huanzheng was overjoyed upon getting 2 bottles of top-grade truth marrow pills. Yimo knew he needed to go back too and thus didn't keep him. In the next day, Yimo spent the day setting up level 9 defense and kill formations before finally leaving for Sand River. For others, the fastest would be 3 months for them to arrive here, but Yimo arrived here in half a month. Before he went in, the sand in his spirit sense seemed boundless. It reminded him of the heartless sea, endless and boundless. You would feel how small you were when you were inside. Yimo settled his mind and stepped foot in. As soon as he did, he felt this pitiful whimper in the desert. Even with his mind, he felt a little sad as though seeing endless bones and souls in the desert. Such a terrifying sand river. Yimo put away Blue Moon and went on Zishu into the sand river. The deeper he went, the more Yimo felt there was a whimpering sound around. It was like a despairing tourist crying in this sea of desert. Yimo put away Blue Moon and went on Zishu into the sand river. The deeper he went, the more Yimo felt there was a whimpering sound around. It was like a despairing tourist crying in this sea of desert. Yimo flew in here for half a day and completely realized why so many people were lost. If you stayed in here a little longer, the helplessness and loneliness would take over your heart. The longer time went, the longer you spent here, the deeper this feeling was felt. If you couldn't resolve it, no matter how strong-hearted you were, you would lose yourself in this sand river. Yimo was sure that those cultivators who could go in had a way to stop this, but he didn't know the method. Yimo didn't mind that Wang Xie and Yu Ming didn't tell him about this. They probably thought he was almighty and wouldn't lose his mind in the desert. In fact, if Yimo didn't have bitter bamboo, it might really be hard for him to keep conscious in this place. But now, he wasn't scared of this at all. With a long howl and the use of the 3 birth chant, his mind cleared and that whimpering sound disappeared. Yimo took Zishu in a purple beam and dashed across the sand river. He had the map Wang Xie gave him. It didn't cover the entire place, but it could point a direction for him. The whimpering sands calmed down and it was though Yimo was flying over an ordinary boundless desert. He really enjoyed the feeling of flying above the sand. It had this wild but ecstatic feeling. He wasn't a poet, but even he wanted to compose a poem now. Attack! A painful howl sounded and Yimo suddenly stopped Zishu. A white-robed cultivator appeared in his spirit sense. His clothes were very dirty now and he waved a flying sword, charging as though there were countless demons ahead of him, but in fact there was just endless sand. The rolling sand turned into a long ravine under that slashed, but moments later it recovered. "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you." The man roared non-stop and his flying sword shot out beams of cultivation essence sword rays, but there was nothing around him. Just when Yimo wanted to give him a clear mind spell, he saw the man suddenly fall down. Yimo landed not far from this man. He scanned over his spirit sense and found this man was dead. He was a truth realization state level 4 cultivator, yet he lost his mind in here and fought a delusional battle until he dried up his cultivation essence. This was a pity. It was unknown how long he had been fighting for and how many times he used his magic artifact to attack. The sand river was still the same and soon, the man was buried under the sand. Only then did his flying sword fall down, piercing into the sand like a tombstone. But it also disappeared soon under this ravaging sand. Yimo stood there and fell silent for a long time and didn't move. He didn't take any of the man's belongings nor his storage ring. He just saw the words Shizhongchue on the hilt of the sword. A truth realization state level 4 cultivator died strangely like this. Perhaps he was very famous and dominated a region when he was alive. Perhaps there were people waiting for him to go back, but today he died in this endless desert. If Yimo didn't see it, perhaps no one would know of his death. Just when Yimo was about to leave, he suddenly had a bad feeling. It was as though there was something staring at him. If he moved, that thing would charge up. Yimo's skin crawled. He trusted his senses too much. Even if his spirit sense couldn't see it, he believed his sixth sense. Without hesitation, he waved blue flames over. Heaven Flame 9 Suns was only at level 1, he didn't even completely master level 1, but Yimo had a feeling that only Heaven Flame 9 Suns would be able to save him in this situation. The instant the blue flame flashed over, a faint red sun rose up as though it was dawn above Yimo's head. It emitted countless pale red beams as though a star exploding. It was under this sun that he saw a faint shadow near him. He sweated cold immediately. He was disaster transformation state tertiary stage, and yet he couldn't see this figure with his spirit sense. The faint shadow neared Yimo and even reached out its faceless head. But when Yimo used Heaven Flame 9 Suns, the shadow showed a terrified face. Yimo felt very strange. He clearly didn't see any face on this figure, but under the Heaven Flame 9 Suns it showed a terrified face. In that instant, Heaven Flame 9 Suns exploded red rays that seemed to be flaming needles. They all shot into the shadow. After a sharp shriek, that shadow melted like the snow under the Heaven Flame 9 Suns. Yimo felt easier and the tense feeling was gone. Yimo put away the mist lotus heartfire and had a bad feeling. This sand river was more scary than he had thought. The shadow wasn't a ghost cultivator nor a spirit cultivator. It was something he had never heard of. Was it this shadow that the truth realization state was trying to kill? Yimo took out the compass and map and checked before scanned with spirit sense. He was going to keep moving, but his spirit sense scanned another cultivator. Like the cultivator before, he was waving his magic artifact frantically. Without hesitation, Yimo flew over and used Heaven Flame 9 Suns. The red sun rose up and loomed over this terrified cultivator. Under the sun, a figure was latched onto this cultivator, its head stuck closely to this cultivator's neck as though it was sucking blood. The shadow immediately shrieked and instantly faded into a mist under the Heaven Flame 9 Suns. This was another truth realization state, a beast cultivator truth realization state level 5. After the shadow was gone, the beast cultivator immediately stopped, and before he could even thank Yimo, he sat down to eat a pill and recover. 15 minutes later, the beast cultivator got up and saluted with his fists with a sliver of shock. "Thank you, friend, for saving me. I'm God Beast Mountain Range Cha Chizhao." Yimo asked, "Do you know Shizhongchue? Or do you know Big God Lord or Second God Lord and West Cultivator City's City Lord Xiezhengsha?" Cha Chizhao was shook. "You're the cultivator coming here for the seal? You must not go, that seal is a demon, you must not go. There's no one there now, people are dead, injured, and running for their lives. That is too scary, it's over, West Extreme State is done for." Yimo frowned. A truth realization state cultivator was scared to this degree. This was too absurd. He waved his hand and gave him a clear mind spell before asking, "Brother Cha, what is going on? Can you be more specific?" The beast cultivator shook and completely woke up. He looked at Yimo in shock. "What were the things chasing us? How come I couldn't see them? How come you could? You killed them." You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.